along central Upper Michigan, southern Upper Michigan at this time. We'll bring it to Grayson Brady. We'll come back to you with more tornado warning coverage. Stay safe, folks.
All right, thank you, Noel. And as Noel said, we're going to certainly continue to keep an eye on all these tornado warnings and everything else that's happening right now in Upper Michigan.
We are, yes, and our priority is keeping you safe through all of this. And so with that in mind, you know, those warnings, like Noel said, are in effect for Marquette, Iron, and Dickinson counties. So if you're in that area where you could see a tornado tonight, please make sure you're getting away from the windows and staying in the lowest part of your house.
Yeah, and don't try to outrun a tornado if you're in a vehicle as well. Noel was just talking about if you're commuting, make sure to be safe there as well. Your safety is important to us, which is why we're here for you this evening and why our first alert meteorologist, Noel Navarro, is still tracking those storms for us. We're going to turn it back over to Noel really quick here. Noel, what are we seeing right now in Upper Michigan?
Yes, Brady and Grace, we're still seeing the threat for the tornado around areas of southeastern Iron County and also northwestern Dickinson County. There is a breakup because there's a separate supercellular thunderstorm. It's making its way along the Marquette, southern Marquette and northeastern Dickinson County line. As we're still under these tornado warnings, it's until 6:15 p.m. Eastern, 5:15 Central Daylight Time. And let me get back to the computer to show you that we are under a severe and tornado warning. It's for north central areas of Marquette County at this time. This includes the city of Marquette. That tornado warning, is until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It includes the city of Marquette, South Beach as well, around the Ordock, Lower Harbor. It's not the time to be outside, folks. And then around County Road 550, the tornado threat is up in those areas on the way to Powell Township and Big Bay at this time. So we have these separate three supercellular thunderstorms that's still holding with its strength, with that potential to bring tornado touchdown to Mastodon Township at this time south of Crystal Falls. But Crystal Falls, you might be dealing with some heavy doses of rain and wind at this time. Mastodon, US 141 on the way to the Wisconsin state line, the way the Phelps is unsafe at this time. Again, they're traveling at 45 to 50 miles per hour, and they could hold and cross to that Dickinson County line and affect travel and make it exceptionally dangerous along M95 south of Sagola on the way to Ranville at this time. We see the pendant around the areas of Ralph at this time. That's where we're watching out for the tornado to spin in the area of northeastern Dickinson County, and then well ahead of it, it's going to be damaging hail and wind and torrential rainfall for southern Marquette County, including the town of Arnold at this time. It's going to approach Ewing Township. And again, to remind you about the radar updates, it's every 5 minutes. It's going to be on its way to Ewing if it hasn't already, folks. Forsyth Township, severe thunderstorm in your area of M553. That includes Gwynn, that includes Little Lake, Swansea, and Little Shag Lake. Campers out there, please be safe. There is still a tornado warning for northern Marquette County. It includes the city of Marquette, and now it's starting to trickle to Chocolate Township, and the city of Scandia as well. You're seeing this on the radar. It's traveling M28, and some of that energy is moving southeast. Again, that energy is quite dangerous, means it wants to stay alive, and the longer it's alive, the longer it could do damage along that eastern Marquette and soon the western Alger County line. Now we're showing you the interactive radar, and we're going to go ahead and just estimate the times of arrival. Shall this supercellular thunderstorm hold over southern Marquette County, you get into M35 and even approach northern Delta County for areas like Perkins before 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, as we look at this one that is holding around Crystal Falls South, it's still not safe to be around M69 at this time. We're seeing that this supercellular thunderstorm is still holding and traveling east at 45 to 50 miles per hour. Can get to Ranville before 5:30 p.m. local time. Now, as for the particular supercellular thunderstorm around the Marquette area, it's starting to break up, and usually when it gets to Lake Superior, we could count on Lake Superior to moderate and eventually lead to this thunderstorm to weaken, but it is still holding out, folks. So be aware of this. For folks around Dearton and Onoda, Rock River, Autrain also, please just keep this imminent in your minds here that this applies not just for the tornado safety, but severe thunderstorm safety. In the basement, interior bathroom, interior closet, away from windows, exterior walls, because of the threat of our thunderstorm strength that we're dealing with at this time. I'm just cycling through our cameras right now. We're just seeing heavy rainfall from our MDOT cameras. Let me see if I could do this rather quick. I will go ahead and try to focus on, just bear with me folks. I'm going to bring you to the TV6 Sky Cam. This one is quite the mobile camera to use, and let's see if we can bring it out here. I'll cycle through graphics meanwhile while we have it. So we are bringing you that camera. Let me see if I can go ahead and cycle through. Again, we're just going to do this rather quickly, and apologies, this is live on air telling you about the tornado threat for the areas here. Okay. All right, let's see. There you go. Now we're seeing the northwestern sky from our TV6 Sky Cam, based for the city of Marquette. You're seeing these clouds dip from the base, and you're starting to see that maybe some of this rotation could start coming. You could start seeing this on the western side of this camera at this hour. You're seeing it come, and if it starts to, the cloud starts to condense, and you see the dark color of the gray start to dig southern, south and south, getting close to surface. That's when we're watching out for tornado touchdown, folks. So this is our TV6 Sky Cam. This is northwest of Marquette. At this hour, we're seeing a supercellular thunderstorm, rotating thunderstorm, and at the base of it, there's also some clouds that may look like they're looking to form a funnel. Now, some of that is stratocumulus. We call it scud. It's a good warning sign to take. You want to be safe. You don't want it. It's better safe than sorry at this time. So that is the TV6 Sky Cam. I want to thank my director, Thurnis. He is on par to show you what we have going. We can bring it back to the TV6 Sky Cam that we have programmed here. It's 79 degrees, 71. We're watching out for the thunderstorm that is traveling along US 41 at this time over downtown Marquette. That particular cloud that you're seeing just east of the graphic showing the temp and dew point, I'm just watching out for that to develop into a funnel and drop and get close to the ground there. That is the city of Marquette at this time, folks. Again, you could download the free TV6 First Alert weather app for all your forecasts and your radar tracking. Again, this is me. I got to get out of this graphic. This is not what I want to show you. We're still under a tornado warning, unfortunately, and we're here for your safety to track it. It's covering portions of Marquette County at this time, including the city of Marquette, until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, southern Marquette County, northeastern Dickinson County, around Felch at this time, until 6:30 p.m. Let me show you the radar and alerts as well. Let's take it to that on this in real time as we show you and bring it back to the show. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. So we are under this first alert weather day, folks. It's until 9 p.m., but we're under the tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warnings along central upper Michigan at this time. Focused on the red will be the tornado warnings, and we're showing you the loop in the last 3 hours where we show 3 separate supercellular thunderstorms. I'll go ahead and stop the loop right now, and they're focused around the city of Marquette, eastern Marquette County, touching up into Alger County west, but then also still holding. As you can see, the magenta colors, that shows that these thunderstorms around southern Iron County, western Dickinson County, southern Marquette County, northeastern Dickinson counties, they're still holding serve, folks, and they could still produce a tornado. And as you can see, let's go ahead and focus on the radar and alerts here just to show you. This is around County Road 581, around the Felch area. This particular hook echo indicates some rotation and potential tornado touchdown. I would ask for verification, but I'm asking more for your safety. Stay indoors and stay away from windows, folks, in those areas between Ralph, Alfred, and the city of Arnold. Arnold, you're also just in that area of the tornado warning until 6:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And as I mentioned, these cells are moving east at 45 to 50 miles per hour, but you see this energy trying to move south, taking on that deviant motion to stay alive, and the longer they're alive, they can produce damaging hail and wind in your area of Arnold. Again, the radar updates every 5 minutes. It's imminent over the area of Arnold at this time. Please stay indoors. It's a blessing in disguise, folks, that we've had this unhealthy air at this time because it keeps us indoors and also keeps us in mind of the severe potential for thunderstorms at this time. Again, a tornado warning for areas along central upper Michigan at this time, excuse me. So the severe thunderstorm threat, that's what it is for areas between Iron and Dickinson counties at this time, but just keep an eye on it, folks. You just never know, especially the more they move southeast. That particular supercell south of Crystal Falls, north of Florence, Wisconsin, moving towards the M95 corridor between Sagola and Ranville. If it holds, there's still potential for it to produce a tornado. I'm still seeing a little undulation south of Macedon at this time that would indicate the potential for a new developing funnel cloud in that area of southeastern Iron County. So where the tornado threat is imminent, as shown on radar, it'll be around the Ralph area here, where it's crossing the northeastern Dickinson and southern Marquette County line. And well ahead of it, well ahead of the tornado, is a damaging hail, wind threat, torrential rainfall across portions of southern Marquette County at this time. Some of this energy can make its way to M35 and get to Cornell and Rock in time as we take a look. Now again, the severe thunderstorm tornado warning still applying around the Marquette area at this time. So that threat's still going on, and counting on it now as we see the supercell moving offshore or moving towards Lake Superior. That's a good sign, hoping that Lake Superior does job in moderating and weakening this thunderstorm. It's not a time to be outside for mariners, of course, folks. We know that. We've got gale warnings, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings, and a tornado warning that is shown here on the radar and alerts map covering north central Marquette County at this time. So warnings again, we have a tornado warning that is covering northeastern Dickinson, southern Marquette County at this time until 6:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It includes Ralph around northeastern Dickinson County. It includes the town of Arnold, southern Marquette County. The severe thunderstorm threat exists. It still remains, could be a potential tornado still between southern Iron and southwestern Dickinson counties. Folks in Iron Mountain, Dickinson counties, we're not out of the threat just yet. I know we don't have the tornado warning, but just be ready for it because much of western central upper Michigan is under a tornado watch as a whole. Tornado warning is still in effect for northern Marquette County along the Lake Superior shore and includes the Little Presque Isle and Presque Isle, the city of Marquette as mentioned, South Beach, Marquette, and the Lower Harbor. It's until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time as we take you to your current radar. We're going interactive here as we are showing you this particular supercell still holding in its strength and still extensive in coverage around southern Marquette County at this time. Now we're starting to see less of the hook echo, but there's still some of that energy jutting out just north of Ralph and crossing into that Dickinson Marquette County line south. We'll keep an eye on that one, folks. So again, let's go ahead and show you the tornado shelter for safe zones. Basement, interior bathroom, interior closet, get away from windows and exterior walls. That's the time it applies not just for tornadic potential, but also for your damaging hail and wind events from these thunderstorms too. Now our MDOT camera is showing heavy rainfall along M95. I'd still keep an eye on northern Menominee County too. This is near Hermansville, and we're taking you to the TV6 Skycam based out of Marquette. Now this one is in real time. I'm going to go ahead and operate this, and we'll see the camera move throughout the course of this coverage. Again, we are still under a tornado warning, for Marquette area on the way to Big Bay around County Road 550. This is looking over Lower Harbor at this time. We're going to spin the camera around and show you where we're watching out for that potential because we are focused around the Lake Superior shoreline. Now, this camera, they've got the tower in the way, but as we focus out into Lower Harbor Marquette, you see that the thunderstorms are moving out towards Lake Superior over the water. There's a potential for water spouts if there's still rotation involved around this area of north central Marquette County at this time. Again, download the free TV6 First Alert Weather app. There's that QR code at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. I'm going to go refresh my screen and show you where we're under that tornado warning. There's a few of them. Let's see if there's any updates, and sure enough, and let me go ahead and clean out this map here and show you on the radar and alerts. There's still a tornado warning, folks. That is still ongoing for northeastern Dickinson County, southern Marquette County until 6:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A few more minutes away, however, as you can see here, and I'm going to stop the loop now. You still have extensive coverage of the supercell that is moving across southern Marquette County at this time, and it's also having some of that energy trickle south south of its usual path, its typical path that we have calculated today, east at 45 to 50 miles per hour. It wants to stay alive a bit longer. So we're going to stay tuned with this as we follow the tornado warning across southern Marquette County, northeastern Dickinson County. Meanwhile, the tornado warning is still in effect around the city of Marquette and just north of town around County Road 550 until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And a lot of that energy now is starting to push towards Lake Superior, still holding an extensive coverage to produce damaging hail and wind for these areas around the lake shore, around M28 at this time, towards Shot Point, and now affecting Onoda, Rock River, all those places, folks. And as you can see, a tornado watch has popped. This tornado watch is covering much of the region as we zoom out on the radar and alerts map. The western 2/3 of Upper Michigan is under a tornado watch tonight. The threat subsides or tapers the farther north and the farther east you go, because the frontal boundary that has made its way across Upper Michigan has coincided with the heat of the day. Again, tornado warning, 6:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that is covering northeastern Dickinson County and southern Marquette counties at this time. And we're zooming out on the map to show you that the tornado threat is still imminent around Marquette and north around that Lake Superior shoreline. Tornado warning for north central Marquette County until 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Radar and alerts, and we're going to go right to the warnings, taking you out of the radar rather quickly just to show you again the coverage areas where you got to watch out for a rotating thunderstorm producing tornado touchdown. It is northeast of Felch and around southern Marquette County at this time. Some of that energy can make its way to M35 southeast of Forsyth Township. And then on the current radar, here is another potential supercellular thunderstorm. I'm seeing the hook echo develop north of Florence at this time, so be careful around M95 connecting from, say, Ranville on the way to Iron Mountain. Supercellular thunderstorm, tornadic, and just a donut hole around southern Marquette County at this time. That's the tornado potential. We're watching out for that around just the area northwest of Arnold, northeast of Alfred at this time. And for folks around Arnold and southeast of town, we're looking at heavy rainfall, damaging hail and wind from the supercellular thunderstorm, in addition to what we're watching out for from that supercell. And we're still watching out for the tornado threat east of Marquette at this time. We're going to keep an eye north of town, though. You see that there's still some energy that is jutting out of the supercellular thunderstorm around Sugarloaf and Presque Isle Park at this time. Over the island, there is a potential for rotation and tornado touchdown those areas, or at least a funnel cloud. Now, well ahead of it, M28 on the way to Rock River, Onoda. Watch out here for some damaging hail and wind, torrential rainfall, and frequent lightning from these thunderstorms. So just taking you here back here, we're looking at three particular cells at this time. Zooming out on the map here, I'm not forgetting you guys folks around the interior west, around Stannard, Bruce Crossing, and around Covington. No way, no way. We're watching out for strong thunderstorms in your area. But let me circle where we're watching out for tornadic potential. Tornado warning is in effect around southern Marquette County and the northeastern edge of Dickinson County at this time, as we have circled. And then I'm going to be circling the supercellular thunderstorm. Traveling east of Marquette, there is still potential for a funnel cloud in the area of Marquette at this time. Those are the two supercells we're watching out for at this time, and a potential for another one. It had since weakened somewhat, but I'm starting to see a little signature northeast of Florence at this time around the Wisconsin state line. This is southeastern Iron County and the western edge of Dickinson County too, just north of Iron Mountain, potential of a supercellular thunderstorm that could produce a tornado again in those areas. So let's take you to the warnings. We have one more left. A tornado warning had since expired around southern Marquette County. So good for us, but again, there's still that potential, folks, for areas along southeastern Iron County, southern Dickinson County. Keep an eye on that, especially along M95. Keep an eye on what's going on around southern Marquette County, and also folks in Delta County around M35 around Rock. Be prepared for a potential tornadic thunderstorm. I know we don't have that. The tornado warning is still in effect, though, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the city of Marquette and just north around County Road 550, again until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Let's fast forward into the interactive radar, zooming out into these areas. Let me focus on where we still have the tornado warning in effect. It's for Marquette County North, Now you're starting to see that energy weaken somewhat, but I'm still looking at the tornado warning still in effect for these areas. So if this supercell holds, it's starting to break up because it's over Lake Superior, and Lake Superior looks to be doing its job to weaken it somewhat, but it's still extensive in coverage, folks. Keep an eye on it around Onoda, Rock River, 6:30 p.m. local time in your area. Now, as for the supercellular thunderstorm around southern Marquette County, we are looking at potential for it to travel and make its way to M35 just around 6:30 p.m. as well. Everybody, have a safe one around the central portions of Upper Michigan at this time as we track severe thunderstorm tornadic potential on this first alert weather day. Let's send it to Brady and Grace.
All right, thank you, Noel. We will get back to you soon. We know you're very busy, obviously staying on top of everything. We appreciate everything that you and the rest of the weather team is doing for us right now, but we want to give you a few minutes to just kind of take a break, get your bearings, and we'll get back to you. But for now, we're going to just talk about what we're seeing and what we're noticing across Marquette County, where we're seeing these different weather events. We have Cameron out in the field right now. He's sending us back some reports from what he's seen across Marquette County out at Presque Isle. He's seen quarter-sized hail and winds picking up. Obviously, just further reinforcing that point that you got to stay inside, go to the lowest floor, just all these different safety reminders that Noel and we've been keeping an eye on.
Yeah, and as we've said, your safety is our priority. And so part of our first alert promise is keeping you up to date with all of this information coming in. That's why Noel is on the air, has been on the air since about 5:30 Eastern time. We're going to stick with this until all of those warnings end in our coverage area. We're also tracking some power outages right now. I've got them up on my computer here. The most amount we have right now is in Menominee County with 719 outages. Those counties that do have the warnings right now are pretty limited. Iron County has 18, Marquette County has 48, Dickinson County has 0 right now, but any of this could change at any moment, and that's why we are all working as a team to keep on track of all of this.
Yeah, it's obviously a very fluid situation. I don't think any of us expected that we'd be doing this right now, but there's a lot that could be changing. Like you said, not a whole lot necessarily in Marquette, but considering that's where we're seeing a lot of this storm activity right now, certainly something we're keeping an eye on. The Marquette Board of Light and Power is on top of it as well. They posted on Facebook several hours before these storms really picked up. And remember, these storms were going earlier in the day. We saw the damage over at Meyer and Marquette Township related to that as well. Obviously not part of this tornado, but we've seen storm activity throughout the day. So Marquette Board of Light and Power posted some information on Facebook. I would encourage you to go and check that out, see what they have for reminders. But again, just things to keep in mind when you see a tornado warning. Stay inside, obviously. Don't try to outrun the tornado if you are outside and you can't get back inside. So a lot of things to keep in mind, a lot of things we're keeping an eye on. Noel, us, Cameron out in the field, our production people. It's a team effort here, and we're making sure that we're keeping you all safe.
Absolutely. And last we did hear from Cameron, he was out at Presque Isle. He was seeing some minor flooding along Wright Street, some hail as well. Noel, it looks like you're coming back in frame. What do you have for us?
Yeah, Grace and Brady, just keep an eye on what's happening around Presque Isle and northwest of the area there. We're watching out for essentially the thunderstorm. The debris ball is what I'm watching out for. Again, this is on the western edge, and it's still jutting out of the main supercell that's tracking across Lake Superior at this time. So you're still starting to show more of this reflectivity, high energy reflected around Presque Isle, just east of Sugarloaf, and around the island that we call Presque Isle Park. Now, that's where we're still seeing that potential as we have the tornado warning in effect still at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. North of the city of Marquette at this time, the Presque Isle Park area is not the place to be, folks. And again, I just called it, it's just a blessing in disguise that we had this smoky air, unhealthy air to keep us indoors, because it is a time to be indoors to stay safe from these thunderstorms. I show this on the interactive radar, and we'll go ahead and zoom into these areas. Well, rather quickly, just cover the safe zones for the tornado shelter as mentioned. Basement, interior bathroom, closet. Get away from windows and exterior walls. That's the bottom line as we could take it here. Let's go to the TV6 sky cam in Marquette at this time. It's starting to control on its own, or someone is operating, and thank goodness we're doing that. We're watching out for what's dropping under the base of these clouds at this time. You're seeing it over the water. There's a potential for this particular portion of Lake Superior. You could see it now dropping down. Let's zoom into this area. It is around Lower Harbor, Marquette. You're watching out for what's developing just south of this cloud base, right over the break wall and also the lighthouse at this time. There's a potential, at least, of a water spout to develop over this area. So let's zoom out and let's focus. It's essentially the tornado threat is overhead at this time, folks. That's where we're looking at. Cameron is over around Lake Superior. He's saying the threat is over, thank goodness. But the thing is, folks, this supercell is holding. Some of this energy is holding, excuse me, as I move this camera around, get away from the tower. And I'm going to go ahead and focus around the southeast at this time, on the way to Harvey and on the way to western Alger County, because as we can see, there is still some development over the base of the clouds, this supercellular thunderstorm over Lake Superior. And as much as we want to see it weaken over Lake Superior, because Lake Superior tends to do that, it's done it many times, folks. But I got to show you, we have an update on a tornado warning, and it's covering areas of eastern Alger County and also covering Alger County at this time. As I show you the map, let's go ahead and zoom out here. We have an update on your tornado warnings. They're going on until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And as mentioned, it's covering the town of Harvey, Shot Point, and into western Alger County at this time, the M28 corridor connecting over to Munising. Folks in Munising, it's time to prepare ahead for tornadic potential from a thunderstorm. And we have an update on a supercellular thunderstorm. As I mentioned, it had just expired. Well, now it's until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's covering southern Marquette County, the eastern ends of Dickinson County, northern Menominee County too, western Delta County now, M35 from Brampton to Rock on the way to Gladstone. Please be careful. My friends out in Gladstone, that area north of Escanaba, you got to be ready for that, and around the Garden Peninsula, Stony Peninsula as well. You see that the shape of these tornado warnings that they're showing for coverage, it's more towards the southeast, because these thunderstorms, though they take on a general track today, we calculate
The National Weather Service in Marquette has issued a tornado warning for east central Dickinson County in south central Upper Michigan, northwestern Delta County in south central Upper Michigan, northeastern Menominee County in south central Upper Michigan, south central Marquette County in north central Upper Michigan, until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 6:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 5:16 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Watson, or 27 miles northwest of Escanaba, moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Watson around 6:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Northland, Cornell, Brampton, St. Nicholas, Perkins, and Arnold.
Welcome back, everybody. Now we
The National Weather Service in Marquette has issued a tornado warning for east central Dickinson County in south central Upper Michigan, northwestern Delta County in south central Upper Michigan, northeastern Menominee County in south central Upper Michigan, south central Marquette County in north central Upper Michigan, until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 6:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 5:16 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Watson, or 27 miles northwest of Escanaba, moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Watson around 6:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Northland, Cornell, Brampton, St. Nicholas, Perkins, and Arnold.
Welcome back, everybody. As you heard from National Weather Service, tornado warnings, updates on those as they are ongoing until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time over in the Marquette area, Marquette County, even though we also have a tornado warning that's still for the city of Marquette North until 6:30 p.m. But for the ones extending into 7 p.m., it covers eastern Marquette County, northwestern Alger counties as well, and a supercellular thunderstorm that is more extensive in coverage from southern Marquette County to northwestern Delta County at this time. So that tornado warning also applies until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Meanwhile, the supercell thunderstorm around the Wisconsin state line between Iron and Dickinson counties, it's looking to break up a bit, but I'm still going to watch out for it because of the deviant motion of these thunderstorms. All three of these. Now, the tornado warnings apply to what's happened around northern Marquette counties and then also western Alger County. Northwestern Delta County, southern Marquette counties, no, they have the supercellular thunderstorm as well, producing a tornado warning. But all three that we're seeing, covering the central portions of the region, have enough power and enough know-how in what they want to do. They do take on a life on its own, folks, and now they have enough energy to sustain it, and they need to move southeastward, which is what they're doing. As you can see, the orientation from northwest to southeast between southern Marquette counties, northwestern Delta counties, and then also around that Wisconsin state line on the way to Iron Mountain in Norway. So let's keep an eye on that one, folks. As for the supercell that's traveling around the Lake Superior shoreline, it is fighting the big lake, folks. Now, the tornado warning north of Marquette still in effect until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I know Cameron was in the area. He said the threat is over, and thank goodness that's what we want. But nonetheless, National Weather Service still has it in effect. And now they had just canceled. They had allowed that to expire. So that's good. The threat is over in those areas, thank goodness. But for M28, on the way to Onoda, Rock River, on the way to Grand Island, Munising, you got to keep an eye on this one, folks, because as much as it's traveling along Lake Superior, which right now, of course, it's a bit cooler, it could suffocate the thunderstorm and weaken it. Well, part of this energy is traveling, commuting around M28 at this time, and it wants to take on that deviant nature to get into a favorable environment, which means warmer, humid air, and also the smoke, by the way. The smoke particles do have a part in enhancing what forms as rainfall drops, and then eventually you're talking about clouds that enhance, and this is what we're seeing today on this First Alert Weather Day, folks. So M28, we're looking at a tornado warning that extends over into Alger County and also into areas of Schoolcraft County, as you can see. Well, that's a severe thunderstorm warning, but you got to be ready, folks, over around Shingleton area, north of the Seney Wildlife Refuge. Be ready to go towards the Seney Stretch. Well, it could be stretched with a supercellular thunderstorm at this time. We're starting to see the breakup around Chatham at this time on M94, east of Scandia. This one, you're going to watch out for around Rumley. Watch out for some hail and some torrential rainfall in addition to frequent lightning, Now, as we're seeing the supercellular thunderstorm, you're seeing some undulations outside of the supercell, outside of the shades of dark red in this map that we're showing you on the radar and alerts. Just got to watch out for rotation dropping from the base of these clouds, okay? So that's what we're seeing. There's enough energy. We have enough moisture. We have what we call cloud condensation nuclei. That's what I was trying to tell you about, the smoke particles that could enhance the rainfall and the clouds and everything like that. And I didn't even draw it, but there's no need to draw it because what we're seeing on the radar reflects what's moving across upper Michigan, which is a frontal boundary that is meeting the heat of the day with the humid energy. It's all energy converted to what we're seeing on this First Alert Weather Day as mentioned. So let me go ahead and take the radar real quick to show you your coverage areas of the tornado warning in effect until 7 p.m. Daylight time. This is for southern Marquette County, the northern fringe of Menominee County, and also western Delta County around that M35 connector between, say, Rock on the way to Gladstone. Be careful, folks. And now another place that's heavily traveled, obviously, is our M28 area, the connector between, say, Harvey on the way to Munising, Rock River, Train, Onoda. The tornado warnings until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Munising, Grand Island. I know we're not in for it yet, but be ready as this particular supercellular thunderstorm wants to hold, even though it's traveling around the Lake Superior shoreline as we speak. This is interactive radar. You're seeing more red, and I hope it starts to diminish. You start to see more shades of yellow and orange up around the Lake Superior shoreline between Marquette and Alger counties, because then that means the tornado threat could be ending. Just watch out for damaging hail and wind, torrential rainfall, and lightning. As for the supercellular thunderstorm that could produce a tornado, we're going to be zooming in to around Ewing Township. You see the Hook Echo east of Arnold now, traveling around County Road 426 on the way to Delta County. This is where it's extremely unsafe, folks. This is a tornado. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at funnel cloud. We're looking at rotation. Well, it's right here around that Marquette Delta County line. Ewing to St. Nicholas. Trombley, you're looking at this undulation. As I said, these particular cells, as we calculated today, are traveling east of 45 to 50 miles per hour, but they're taking on that deviant motion to curve right. And in meteorological just education period, what we've gone through, everything like that. When it does that deviant nature, these thunderstorms want to stay alive, and the longer they're alive, the more they want to do damage. So folks, around the Marquette Delta County line, approaching M35, Cornell North, be prepared for some heavy rain, some gusty winds that could get to 60 plus miles per hour, cause some damage to roof siding and trees in addition to hail. Hail could be all indicated per the magenta as you see on the radar connecting southern Marquette to Delta counties, But the tornado, where we're watching out for that potential, will be between Arnold and Ewing around 426, County Road 426 at this time. Tornado threat in those areas. Supercell is starting to diminish around the Iron Mountain area, around central Dickinson County. Hopefully that holds, folks, but that is an area where they could just re-energize. We have a tornado warning also in effect around M28. It's covering the eastern portions of Marquette County, around that Lake Superior shoreline, Shot Point included, and then around M28 on the way to Rock River and getting close to Train at this time. Now, just a disclaimer, this is the thing about our radar. We always like to say it's up to date, and yes, I want it to be up to date. Radar updates every 5 minutes. You see this in your area, you think, oh, I'm still in the green. No, it could be imminent in your area. Now you need to prepare, which means, let's remind you folks, this applies not just to tornadoes, but also to damaging hail and wind from thunderstorms. Your safe zones, basement, lowest floor of your building or home, interior bathroom, interior closet. Bottom line is to get away from windows and exterior walls. So no, I'm not going to ask you to take pictures and take video. If you could do so safely, if you can see it from a safe distance out of your window, that's fine. But if it's over your area and you hear the rumble after rumble, lightning after lightning, you're staying indoors, folks. Please do so at this time. Let's take you to the TV6 Marquette camera at a landmark inn. I'm going to go ahead and operate this in real time. Bear with me as we're doing this on live television. And again, apologies for interrupting your regularly scheduled programming, but this is what we must do on this first alert weather day because we have tornado warnings in effect across the region. This is overlooking the Ordock, Lower Harbor, Marquette, and I'm focusing on areas around M28 connecting Marquette and Alger counties at this time. Yes, it's a bit hazy. Obviously, we have still some smoke in the air, and that's also lending to enhance some of the rainfall and the clouds that are forming on this first alert weather day. But I'm also just zooming towards the eastern portions to see if we could get anything detailed below the bases of these clouds that would indicate rotation. It's tough to call right now, folks, but again, let's go move along here on our radar and alerts to show you the activity across upper Michigan at this hour. Radar alerts, and I'll stop the loop right now. Last 3 hours that we're showing you, I'm going to show you what's happening right now. Again, they update every 5 minutes though, so if it's getting too close to your area, you got to prepare ahead from damaging hail and wind and tornadoes. The tornado warning still in effect until 7 p.m. National Weather Service is keeping it on hold. Around north central upper Michigan, this covers eastern Marquette County, the eastern fringes of it along the M28 corridor connecting over to Train, around Dearton and on the way to Autrain. As you can see, the darker shades of red in those areas. Watch out for torrential rainfall and some hail and wind around the Chatham area, around the western interior of Alger County. But where the supercell can really do some damage is around the areas south central. Ewing Township, on the way to Brampton, on the way to Gladstone, trying to stretch out into Gladstone at this time. Gladstone area right now might be okay, but you might be feeling a strong gust of wind at times outflowing from these thunderstorms. A tornado southwest of Ewing Township at this time. This is what we're watching out for around County Road 426. You see the hook echo. It's not shaded in magenta. It's just this area that goes from dark red. Let me circle it for you here on the telestrator if I can do that. Let's see if I could actually do that on the radar here. It's been a while. It's been a minute, folks. I haven't taken a break yet, and that's okay because I don't want to until this tornado threat's done. I'm circling the Ewing Township area. East of Arnold, that's where we're watching out for tornadic potential. The hook echo, that is that signature we look for in the radar to show rotation and showing that tornado threat around those areas between southern Marquette County, and eventually we're looking at northwestern Delta County at this time. Now, we talked about what the storm motion, the storm speeds are for these particular supercells, north central and around south central upper Michigan at this time. They're moving east at 45 to 50 miles per hour, but they're taking on this turn. They're curving right. They're curving right. They're operating like hurricanes do. Hurricanes follow the path of least resistance. They follow the path that favors what fuels their thunderstorms, heat and moisture, and you're getting that pretty much around these areas of central upper Michigan at this time. Now, it is still holding quite strong, folks, around southern Marquette County, northern Delta County at this time, stretching into M35, just north of Cornell at this time, getting close to Gladstone. Not a time to travel. And as I mentioned earlier in these weathercasts, it's a blessing in disguise that we have this unhealthy air from the wildfire smoke because it's kept us indoors. And we need to go ahead and do this. And all at the same time, we're getting video for you folks. And let's send it back to the anchor desk with Brady and Grace.
Thank you, Noel, and thank you again for tracking all of this so thoroughly for us. We do have some viewer-submitted video. Take a look. This first one you're going to see is some clouds submitted by KP. She's a former employee of TV6, now works for Gray Corporate. There was some clouds moving in over the Marquette area. KP, thank you for sending this to us. And if you have videos of what it looks like in your community, go ahead and send that to us. You can do so on our website. You can send us a message on Facebook. We have a team behind the scenes working to put this all together. Let's move to that second video. This is video from our chief engineer, Andrew Blanford, over Lake Superior. Brady, what are those reminders that we need to be keeping in mind during this weather?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's go back to what Noel said just a few minutes ago about sending these videos in safely. If you have videos to send in, don't put yourself in any risk to send us videos. We love to see them. But your safety should certainly come first. But if you can, remember, use that free TV6 First Alert Weather app. Send us in any videos that you can. We love to be able to, get an actual view outside of what we're seeing. That's super great to have, certainly. But your safety does come first. If you're at home right now, just remember, stay in a safe spot. That means going to the lowest floor in your home, staying away from any windows, certainly not leaving the house to try to get any videos or anything, as tempting as it may be. Just stay where you are, get to the lowest level, be safe, be smart. If you're out and about, don't try to outrun the tornado, just stay where you are, and again, be safe. A lot of the same safety reminders.
Yeah, and if you do need to move away from your TV to be in that safer location, remember you can stay with us on the TV6 and Fox UP mobile news app. We have our live stream on our website if you have a computer, or we have some Facebook updates. You can stay with us on Facebook as well. But if you want to keep our on-air coverage to see everything that we're keeping track of, what Noel is keeping track of, make sure that you're watching our TV6 First Alert mobile news app.
Yeah, and we've had Team Cameron's back at the station now. He's safe, don't worry. But he was out and about checking out the storm as well. And we've had a team of people out there doing it as well. But yeah, if you can safely send us anything, we do love to see it. We'll show it like we just showed KP and Andrew Blanford's videos. But remember, be safe. That's the #1 priority.
Yes, your safety is our priority, which is exactly why that we are doing all of this for you. Again, we're going to take a look at that video. This one is from KP. She's a former TV6 employee. She now works for Gray Corporate, and so she sent us this video of some clouds over in Marquette. And we have another video as well that will be playing here in just a moment. Again, these are clouds over Marquette moving quickly, and that second video, a water spout over Lake Superior, sent to us by our chief engineer, Andrew Blanford. And so we're very thankful for both of these videos to be sent in to us. These were sent safely. We're trying to stress that safety importance to you, because while yes, we want to see what's going on in your community, we want you to be safe as well. And our first alert promise is that we are going to be here for you through it all.
Absolutely, and we're trying to give Noel a little bit of a break, but I think we do probably want to get back to him soon. These threats continuing on into the next couple, hours.
They're
potentially. We're going to be keeping an eye on it for as long as we have to. That's why we're still here. We would have typically been out of here, 15 minutes ago, but we're still here, and we're going to be for as long as we have to be. And with that, we're going to turn it back over to Noel, who's now here and giving us an updated look at what we're seeing. Noel, what's it looking like right now?
Yeah, Brady and Grace, is still a threat of tornadoes across these areas of central upper Michigan, with the tornado warnings per National Weather Service holding until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Northeastern portion of Marquette County, that means M28 folks on the way to Autrain, Onoda. That's until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And for folks in Munising, Shingleton, be ready for it. The Seney Wildlife Refuge, of course, like I said, it's a blessing in disguise to be inside here from the smoky air, because we got to watch out for what's coming from the skies, and it's not the smoke, not just the smoke, folks. It's these thunderstorms that can produce a tornado. So we have a tornado warning north central. We have a tornado warning around the southern edge of Marquette County, and now it's going down towards Gladstone area at this time, and that means M35. I'm going to hop back onto the computer to show you what we're looking at here in terms of our supercellular thunderstorms. Yes, zooming out here on the radar and alerts, showing that 3-hour loop, and we're going to pause that loop and get interactive with it, folks. So we still have, in particular, crossing over into Alger County at this time, and you're seeing the magenta. That means high energies reflected south of Rock River. We're watching out for rotating thunderstorms along this heavily traveled area of the UP, calling it M28, that connects us west to east, right? Now, this particular supercell around the south central is of concern, because you're seeing the hook echo south of Ewing Township at this time, getting into St. Nicholas. That hook echo in particular is what we're watching out for with the tornado. Now, that's indicating rotation, and that is a spin up there. Please be careful. It continues on. It's that signature on the radar that we identify as a tornadic portion of the thunderstorm. So that's around the areas of southeastern Marquette, northwestern Delta County at this time, and stretching out. And even though they're traveling eastbound at 45 to 50 miles per hour, some of that energy wants to curve right, move south. That's what I'm trying to say here, as it wants to stay alive, and the longer it stays alive, the longer it could cause some damage, folks. And we're talking about severe damage on the way to Masonville. Gladstone, if you're not feeling that wind and that rush of rain, well, that's telling you it's on its way over. As you can see, the high reflected energies around M35 south, approaching this area of Little Bay de Noc, north of Escanaba at this time. But I would say, you just got to be safe, folks, over in Esky too. Just keep an eye on it, folks. Like I said, you don't want to be taking pictures and video if it's in your area, if it's overhead. If you're in Brampton, you're going to stay indoors. You don't want to be dealing with that at all. Again, reminders for tornadoes, any severe thunderstorm that can produce damaging hail and wind. You want to be in the basement, interior bathroom, interior closet, get away from windows, exterior walls. The bottom line is to stay away from those windows at this time. So we have also ping pong ball sized hail. We have a severe thunderstorm warning issued around those areas of southern Dickinson County, northwestern Menominee County. So let's go ahead and bring you back. And we're doing this in real time. So pardon me as we cover what's happening severe wise and tornado wise with our thunderstorms today. Again, we have them for areas north central, south central, and upper Michigan shaded in red. Let me stop the loop real quick and show you where we're also watching out for damaging thunderstorms around the southern Dickinson County, northern Menominee County area. It's still holding with its strength, folks. I'm still watching out for tornadic potential from this particular supercell traveling along US 2 at this time from Iron Mountain down to Meyer. Could make its way to Bark River and Harris as well. So please be careful. When we're talking about damaging hail, we're talking about ping pong ball size hail that could damage roof siding and trees. Obviously our vehicles, I love my vehicles. I just bought my Dodge Charger not too long ago. Well, it's out over in Forsyth Township. I got to be careful for that, folks. But again, let's zoom out this radar and alerts map to show you that the tornado warnings are still in effect until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's going to be for southern Marquette, northern Delta counties at this time. And also, let's move up north. This is where it's heavily traveled, folks. M28, east of Marquette, east of Harvey, on the way to, say, Autrain. That tornado warning still until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We're also keeping an eye on power outages because, as you know, during these typical events, that could happen. And not just from anything severe from hail and wind, but we're talking about also frequent lightning. I'm going to take a break for a little bit here. I got my tag team partner, Cameron Chin. Meteorologist Cameron Chin is here with your first alert coverage.
Well, right now, thank you, Noel. We're going to take a look further at the tornado warning currently in portions of Marquette and Alger counties. This is going to be moving southeast. We have been keeping our eyes on this setup and the one further south. I want to also go over what I saw when I was traveling out to Marquette earlier just this afternoon. Some areas were definitely seeing some light flooding, mostly along Wright Street. When I was traveling, my car did hydroplane for a moment. While the tornado is the biggest factor, this still is bringing down a lot of rain. So areas like Munising seeing heavy rain at this moment. Currently, the best radar indication is the tornado is going to be right here, mostly along portions of M28 moving southeast. This is going to be sticking around for at least a little bit longer. Some of these severe thunderstorm warnings have been pushed into 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That's in our southern counties, taking a greater look at across the Upper Peninsula. Those in Delta County, severe thunderstorm warning, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Tornado warning, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The heaviest cell right now moving closer towards Masonville, Escanaba area, just north of Brampton, seeing that higher amounts of rain. Even hail is possible. When I did travel down to Presque Isle area, the rain was picking up, and I also ran into a fellow by the name of Ron Matson. He showed me some pictures of the hail in the area. He saw about golf ball size hail with a picture he showed me. This could damage your car, your windows, basically anything if it gets any bigger. That can be also said for portions of Delta County. This will be moving southeast into along M35 US 41 Escanaba area. Moving further north, we're going to take a look at some of the other cells popping up as well. Severe thunderstorm warning 6:30 p.m. Central Time for Dickinson County, moving southeast along US 2. This is a system that could bring heavy rain, hail up to ping pong sized hail, just like Noel mentioned. I'm giving him a break and we're going to keep going with this. So the biggest thing to keep in mind is stay indoors, stay away from windows. I know it's tempting to peek your head out, take a video if you can see it at any chance, but if you can, please be safe. Be at the southwest corner of this storm. That is going to be your safest spot because this is moving southeast, and we're going to see this move further into Munising, still picking up in some areas. I know it's kind of, we've been long-winded about this, but I'm just here to help out. Give Noel the best chances he gets to take a break before we go into your news tonight, potentially. The tornado warning still in effect, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to take a closer look at this hook. It is closer to Onata along M28. It's getting close to Rock River. This is a pretty intense system. We're seeing a rainfall amounts definitely about an inch over the course of an hour. That definitely was seen in portions of Marquette when I was traveling. So the other thing to keep in mind, winds could be upwards of 40 to 45 miles per hour. Wind gusts could be even higher. If you do have any photos, videos, anything, any reports actually too, please submit those to uppermichigansource.com. We're going to be monitoring the situation over the course of the next 10 minutes. I know we're basically repeating ourselves, and I'm also going to take a quick glance at the electrical outage map. Currently, only outages are in portions of Baraga and Houghton County, but we're still going to keep our eyes on this across the Upper Peninsula. Sorry, I'm kind of getting a little bit heavy-winded. I've been doing a lot of running around because I was in Marquette. Now I'm back here at the station trying to get some video. I did not see any tornadoes along Lake Superior, but I know we definitely got videos of it from our chief engineer. Moving further south again, we're going to take a look at this cell in Delta County. We do have this little thumb looking object kind of starting to peek out. That's kind of where this tornado could potentially be. The dangerous part about this setup is it could lead to a rain-wrapped tornado, which is even harder to see. We don't encourage any videos of you trying to get along that, so please stay safe, please stay inside, get to the most interior portion that you can possibly get. If you don't have a basement, definitely go to a bathroom potentially, stay in, say, like a bathtub, use a blanket over you if debris does break any windows. We're going to keep an eye on this one. It's getting closer and closer to Escanaba, Gladstone area, but it's traveling mostly along M35. The biggest thing right now is just staying safe. We're still seeing the radar along M28. It's doing okay. It's still moving southeast, but right now the biggest thing is the winds upwards of 50 to 55 miles per hour possible. I'm going to toss it right back to Noel so he can get right into it because we are still about 7 minutes out from some of these warnings expiring if they do get extended. Noel?
Yeah, that's right, Cameron. I mean, these thunderstorms, they don't want to give up, folks. And this one in particular towards the south central, it stays alive. There's a chance that it could extend past 7 p.m., but we're going to be staying with you here minute by minute until this threat starts to diminish across upper Michigan. So still a tornado warning until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time around south central upper Michigan. At this time, it's into 7:45. Now we're seeing the extension as we're seeing it around those areas into US 41 and M35. So again, this thunderstorm, Cameron, it doesn't want to quit, and as long as it holds, it could do damage and still deliver potential for a tornado.
And just to keep people updated, Noel, I don't know if you spotted that, it said that tornado warning has now been extended to 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. We're seeing this move along southeast towards Masonville, Gladstone, Escanaba area. We encourage you to stay inside. I know it's the last thing you wanted to hear that we are updating this. It is still going to continue. This is a very intense storm that is being stubborn. This tornado could be down at any point. It could also be covered in rain. We encourage you to stay inside, get to the inmost portion of your house. And we're going to take it back to Noel with the latest look at the radar. Noel?
Yes, all right, thanks, Cameron. So we're seeing the energy travel southeast. As mentioned, they naturally want to move east. We calculated it today, but they're taking on that deviant motion. They're curved right, which means they're going towards that favorable environment, folks, which means there's some heat, there's some humidity involved. And folks, I know we're in the UP. It's pretty spread out, especially past Marquette, especially past Houghton and Hancock. But I'm thinking about my Mennonite friends, my Amish friends around these areas, the farmlands. This is where we're watching.
The National Weather Service in Marquette has issued a tornado warning for central Delta County in south central upper Michigan until 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 6:53 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 8 miles south of Rock, or 14 miles north of Escanaba, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado and ping pong ball size hail. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Gladstone and Rapid River around 7:05 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Maplewood, Brampton, St. Nicholas, Ensign, and Perkins.
Welcome back, friends. As you heard from National Weather Service, the message there, we have tornado warnings have extended to 7:45 for some areas along Delta County. Meanwhile, the tornado warning is still in effect along northeastern Marquette County, northwestern Alger County until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and then around Ewing Township on the way to M35 Rock. That tornado warning is still in effect until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time as we focus on two particular supercellular thunderstorms approaching the area northeast of Gladstone. Gladstone, you might be dealing with some gusty winds. For folks northeast of that, on the way to Masonville, Rapid River, the threat is imminent, folks. And as for the tornadic potential, it'll be northeast of Cornell at this time, as you're seeing a little of that hook signature around M35 South in these areas. And it's where we're seeing that weak, we call it weak echo region. It's actually the area of lower reflected energy in the green. Let's go ahead and simplify that for everybody. I want to make it just explain it as best as possible and all of us to understand, because it is a tornado threat in upper Michigan along the central. So we're seeing this around east of Cornell, and it's moving around M35. Be watching out for any frontal clouds dropping from the base of clouds at this time. And as for the high reflected energies on the way to Masonville and Perkins, Maplewood, that's where we're watching out for some not just torrential rainfall, but we're watching out for some damaging hail. It could get to ping pong ball size hail, damage to windows, roof siding, and trees. That's likely, vehicles especially. And for folks, this is what we're seeing around west of Perkins, around St. Nicholas 31st Road. There is another hook echo that we're watching out for. This one in particular, watching out for the rotation and tornado touchdown, and it'll be moving east and approaching M35 on the way to Perkins. So again, they're traveling east about 40, 50 miles per hour, but taking on that deviant motion to move southeast to stay into a favorable environment, to stay alive and still keep that severe potential alive through the rest of the night for these areas along south central upper Michigan. Zooming out on the map to show you that we still have the tornado warning? We still do. Around areas of Alger County West at this time. It's around M28, one of our most heavily traveled places in the UP anywhere. It's around Marquette to Munising. As we cross over to Alger County, be careful, folks, as we're looking out for some damaging hail and wind and the tornadic potential, and it includes the Rock River area. This thunderstorm, as you can see, has not moved further out into the water. It's been hugging the shoreline, and portions that stay overland have produced the damaging hail and wind potential west of Munising, as you're seeing at this time, crossing over to M28 around Wetmore. And if you're going over to Shingleton, well, there's a chance they will be dealing with this shortly, as we see here on the radar and alert. So bottom line is this, and Cameron really he brought this tip out to you. It was a really important tip, folks, that heavy rainfall is coming and it could mask the tornado. So it could be hard to see, folks. So that's why we're here. We want to be your eyes for this. I'm going to send it off to Cameron too for additional coverage.
All right, Noel, I want to also provide an update. That cell in Alger County has also been extended. It now goes out to 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. There is a radar indicated tornado from this system, hail about 1.5 inches. This will continue for at least the next 45 minutes, but we're going to stay with you over the course of the next couple of hours. Hopefully this does calm down within the next hour or so. Reading off the National Weather Service, 6:57 p.m. Eastern Time, a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was in the Dearden area and is moving at 30 miles per hour. Ping pong size hail is possible from this setup. The other impacts to keep in mind: flying debris. Even if there isn't a tornado, straight line winds can definitely tear off tree limbs, cause damage. This can continue over the next 45 minutes. That means damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles are likely. This will also be moving southeast at the same direction, closer towards places like Christmas, Munising, Forest Lake, Wetmore area. We encourage you to stay inside as much as possible. I know it's tempting to potentially see the system and what we're seeing, but that is dangerous. Leave it to professionals like us to do such a thing. I went out and I know the tips when it comes to a storm like this, but if you are in a safe location, definitely use caution.
The National Weather Service in Marquette has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Alger County in north central Upper Michigan until 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 6:57 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Durton, or 16 miles west of Munising, moving east at 30 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado and ping pong ball size hail. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Authring and Chatham around 7:05 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Munising around 7:25 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Forest Lake, Wetmore, and Christmas.
Welcome back, everybody. We're still looking at these tornado warnings across portions of Alger County. The tornado warning has now expired for those in Marquette County. The only ones left are in Alger and Delta County, both set to expire at 7:45 Eastern Time. When it comes to this, there are radar indicated tornadoes. Winds could be upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour easily from this. This means that we could experience damage. Tree limbs could be torn off. Roof shingles can be torn off from this and could cause damage to your house, windows, cars, basically anything. Stay inside as much as you can. Go to the most interior portion of your house or your mobile home, and definitely the bathroom is a safe location. Take a blanket, cover yourself if you do start feeling those winds pick up in your area. And I'm now going to toss it back to our anchors. Currently, it is Grace and Griffin at the desk, and we're going to show what the latest looks of what we've seen out there across the UP. Grace, Griffin.
Thank you, Cameron. We've been tracking the storm for hours at this point.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. These alerts, take them as seriously as you possibly can. Wherever you're watching, if you are able to watch, make sure you're listening to Cameron and Noel as they're here with us tonight. And we'll keep you updated here on TV6 for as long as possible.
Absolutely. And we do have some videos that have been coming into us. Let's take a look at those now. This is video from KP. She's a former TV6 employee, now works with Gray Corporate. She sent us this video of clouds moving in over Marquette. This was sent in probably about half an hour ago or so. We got that up. We have another video coming up here in just a moment. This is from our chief engineer, Andrew Blanford. It's a water spout over Lake Superior. He stopped safely along the side of the road to get this video for us. And this next one, Griffin.
This is from Stacy Zanetti. She sent this to us on our Facebook page. This is in Marquette County, Wells Township. You see how big that hail is on your screen. Coming down fast. This was sent in about 20 to 25 minutes ago. And again, Stacy Zanetti sent that. Thank you very much, Stacy, for sending that to our Facebook page. Anybody out there can send videos, send pictures to us here on Facebook at TV6, and we would love to see these storm reports that you provide for us. Keep sending those in. We'll send you a little form that says we're allowed to use them on TV, and all of those videos help paint a better picture of what is going on out there. Cameron and Noel are doing an amazing job. Grace has been out here for over an hour doing a great job keeping everybody updated. Your videos and your pictures are going to give us a wonderful picture of how everything is happening around the Upper Peninsula at this point. So make sure you are sending whatever you have over to our Facebook, and we will do our best to get them up on air right now, Grace.
Yeah, and if you don't have Facebook, you can send those to us with our website as well, uppermichigansource.com. And if you have to get away from your television to watch us safely tonight, remember you can also watch us on our TV6 and Fox UP mobile news app, as well as our live stream if you only have a desktop. We have Cameron standing by right now with some outages. Cameron, what are those looking like?
Well, Grace, Griffin, in the last couple of minutes, things have changed in portions of Alger County. Some of the latest outages have come in. Looking at Alger County now, we're seeing now 36 power outages between Autrain and Munising. This is probably going to pick up. This indicates that there is damage to potentially some power lines. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but because of these winds and the higher hail and rainfall amounts, they could definitely cause damage to those. So we're going to be also keeping an eye on the power outages across the UP, especially. This is just from UPCO, so things could change over the next 30 to 45 minutes. We're now going to take a look again at your live radar. What we're looking at right now over the eastern counties, namely Delta and Alger counties. So again, just to reiterate, those warnings are now set to expire tonight at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. I'm now going to toss it over to Noel. I know he has, I've been helping him out, getting him take a break. Seems portion of that tornado warning in Delta County has now been shortened a bit, so now less of northwest. Noel, what does it look like out there?
Thanks, Cameron. Good evening, everybody. Stay safe. We have tornado warnings that have extended over to 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So still existing. By the time we get to dusk, we're counting on it, the threat to diminish. But for now, here we are tracking the tornadic potential from these supercellular thunderstorms around north central and south central upper Michigan, around the Lake Michigan shore. Little Bay to knock now. Tornado warning for areas of Delta County until 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Alger County west, touching up into northern Schoolcraft County. We're talking about places like Shingleton and towards Seney. There's that possibility, folks, as we take a look at this on your warnings map. Let's take it to also not just the warnings, but for the radar, what we're seeing. The supercellular thunderstorm that has held its strength and moving southeast. It was moving east, but then it's curving southeast. Now it's getting close to Little Bay, Big Bay to knock. We need Lake Superior to help. Hopefully, Little Bay and Big Bay could help out in this case. But for now, even towards the Stonington Peninsula, tornado warning as we take a look at the high reflected energies just east of Rapid River at this time. So some of this energy is trying to move southeast when the general motion is east at 45 to 50 miles per hour. It wants to keep moving southeast because it's trying to grab whatever it can, the heat and humidity. I guess Stonington Peninsula has more of that energy to feed it. And in the meantime, watching out for the tornadic potential. And Cameron had talked about this in addition to these severe thunderstorms. So we're talking about hail damage to roof sidings and trees and even your vehicles. Power outages, as we're keeping an eye on that along the map. You go to poweroutages.us for that. And don't forget our free TV6 First Alert weather app. You know, we got this covered right now for TV, but for folks out, say, around Brampton, about those areas, northeast of Rapid River, get the app ready to go and just keep following it on the radar. I just want to tell you and disclose that our radar, all radar, updates every 5 minutes at the soonest. It's not minute to minute, it's not second to second. So even if you're not seeing the red in your area, but you're close to it, it is time to prepare. Be prepared, stay away from windows. Cameron has talked about it all along this evening. As we show you the interactive radar, we're talking about 3 particular supercells, 2 of which could cause tornadoes, produce them, excuse me, and I'm going to circle them here on the interactive radar. It's around Alger County, touching up in the Schoolcraft County line, and then centralized over Delta County. It's staying away from Little Bay and Big Bay to knock. It's just holding on to whatever it could because any of the energy from our cooler Great Lakes surface, the surface temperature, could offset its momentum and then weaken it somewhat. So that's what they've been doing. They've been stubborn, folks, as Cameron and I have agreed. However, this one is not there's no tornado warning around northern Menominee County, southeastern Dickinson County. Nonetheless, keep an eye on any rotation, especially along the western edge of it, west of Meyer, east of Norway, as we're seeing. You see this little undulation west of the supercell and a little bend just south of US 2. That could indicate some rotation. Please be careful in those areas, folks. But again, let's take it back to where we're watching out for the tornadic potential. Of course, as we've been covering all night long, it's around the northern, south central edges of the region and staying just as much as it could away from Lake Michigan and Lake Superior as well. We're moving up to Munising area. You're at least dealing with some heavy rain, frequent lightning, at times some hailstones falling, and some gusty winds out in those areas right now along north central upper Michigan. So some of this energy, even though we're seeing more green on the way to Seney and on just around Shingleton East, oh, so there you go. You see how it updates in real time here? Yes, you would think it'd be minute to minute, second to second. I just know that if it's getting too close to you, even though technically I'd be under the green, no, you got to be ready for the orange and the red, folks, and that means some severe weather to come from these storms. So this is what we have going at this hour. Again, we have some tornado warnings, a few of them, and they're still in effect until 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Western Alger County getting close to that Schoolcraft County line, and then centralized over Delta County at this time. What we're seeing out of these thunderstorms, they move east generally at 45 to 50 miles per hour, but they're taking on a deviant motion to curve right, moving southeast to be a little more specific, and they're trying to hold on to their energy. And the longer they hold on to their energy, the more damage they could produce. So that's what we have going along the central portions of the region at this time. We're under a first alert weather day. It's until 9 p.m. 9 p.m. is less than a few hours from now. I hope it'd be a little faster than that, but folks, here we are. We're dealing with the conditions from our weather for the start of the week. So I'm going to call it a blessing in disguise about the smoke in the air. I know it's unhealthy to breathe. It's like smoking 1,000 cigars. I love the taste of cigars. I don't like inhaling it, but in fact, that keeps us indoors, right? We need to keep indoors during this type of event. The pertinent, I've only been here 6 years, and here we are, wall-to-wall coverage with tornado warnings with Cameron and the team. And really, stay safe, everybody, and stay indoors. So again, tornado warning. It'll be for the north central around Alger County and centralized over Delta County. I'm going to send it over back to Cameron.
All right, thank you, Noel. While we're talking about it, I also want to go over it. Some of you have actually submitted a lot of photos, videos, and we're going to be taking what you sent and showing it over the air here momentarily. I'll give you an idea of what's been sent so far. No, we're looking at mostly hail and some winds picking up in some areas. We don't have it on the air just yet. We are putting it through our systems to show it to you online and on the air here soon. But what we've seen right now, just from David Hammer, he actually sent a video of hail coming down in his area. There is a lot of it, and we're hoping to show you that here momentarily when it does get into our system. But the biggest thing is those in Delta County, those in Alger County. You're seeing the worst of it right now. But that doesn't mean those in the western counties, and we're actually taking a look at one right now. North Delta County, Funnel Cloud, Stephanie Lovell. We appreciate any of those you do send us. We're going to keep our eyes on this. Is that okay? I'm just talking with Noel. We're silently communicating because we're still providing the best possible information we can give you. I'm actually now going to take it over to right now the Weather Center here on the camera. We're actually looking at some of the photos that you sent, and this is definitely where you want to send some of these photos, uppermichigansource.com, and then go to the app, and then you submit photos at the top. This will give us the permission to use these photos online and on air, and you can actually see some of these right now. We're going to actually take a look at this one. This is the one I was talking about, David Hammer. We're going to play this out right now, and you can definitely see there is a lot of hail coming down easily. This looks like a little bit closer to baseball-sized hail, and I'm actually going to see if I can full screen it, but I can't. But we appreciate this, David, especially from many of others taking a closer look back. We're now looking at this one. This is the Harvey St. Bayou area. It is not going to load for me, but that's fine. We do appreciate, we'll show that a little bit later, but some areas are going to see more rain than others, especially those in portions of Delta and Alger County, especially the one in Ewing Township. Taking another look at this one. This one is definitely the most intense. Actually, here's a good photo as well. This looks like some hail, looks like easily an inch wide in diameter. And this is definitely going to cause damage to your car, to your windows, to your roof in some areas. If it comes down hard enough, those in, say, Alger County are definitely seeing this. This could also be seen in Delta County. When it comes to what it looks like the hail is kind of multiple pieces of smaller hail kind of clumped together. This is going to continue across the Upper Peninsula over the next handful of hours. Those in the warning set to expire at 7:45 Eastern Time. If that does change, we'll be providing you with the latest updates. Taking another look at some of the submitted photos across the Upper Peninsula. That was just put in right now. So I'm going to take another look at this one, but it doesn't look like it wants to load, but that's okay. We're still looking at, and we're going to take a look at the radar again across where the warnings are and where the heaviest rains in those areas. 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time still. There's still that persistent severe thunderstorm warning in portions of Menominee and Dickinson County as well. I think I've given Noel plenty of time to kind of get a break in, and he's going to go over what we're seeing on the radar. Noel?
Thanks, Cameron. And now we're watching out for the tornado warning that exists with that supercell around Delta County, hugging US 2 at this time, folks. And keeping an eye on where we're seeing the bends and the hooks jutting out of the supercell around these areas between US 41, between Masonville on the way to Rapid River, and even towards Nema Junction. Oh, goodness, Nema Inn. My friends out there, please be safe. Please be safe. Stay indoors. Keep an eye away from the windows, though, but keep an eye out if you could, if you're not too far from it, to see what's happening out there in those areas. Ensign Township, tornado warning, we're looking at it until 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Delta County, and then we move north here on the radar and alerts map to show you that the supercell, it looks like a crab or a scorpion, I don't know what it is, but I'm just telling you it's staying alive and it's high energy, folks, and could still produce rotation out of the bases of those thunderstorm clouds. So tornado warning for Alger County until 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It is best to stay indoors at this time, folks, for these areas. Just to remind you again, this applies not just to a tornado, but also to a severe thunderstorm that could bring ping pong ball size hail or larger. Gusty outflow winds from these thunderstorms at 60+ miles per hour. Immediate damage, flying debris. Cameron recalled that as well from any severe thunderstorm event. So again, you stay in the basement if you have it, the lowest floor of your building or home, interior bathroom, interior closet. It's just number one, to be away from windows and exterior walls at this time. Let me go take you to the TV6 Sky Cam, and I'm going to go ahead and move this camera around, do it in real time as we do during this coverage over the course of this evening. We continue on. It's TV6 News Tonight time. Well, tonight it's about tracking the tornadic thunderstorm threat on this first alert weather day. It continues on until 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. It is rain covered. Our camera lens of our TV6 Skycam at Landmark Inn, but we'll take you back to the radar to track what's going on with these supercellular thunderstorms. Still holding on in strength, and we could tell because of the colors, obviously, with the dark red around Munising and crossing over into that Alger Schoolcraft County line on M28. Well before the town of Seney, but along that Seney stretch. It's not a time to be driving in these areas, as we see, folks, because the tornado warning is still in effect per National Weather Service in this area of Alger County and touching up into that border into Schoolcraft County. And then we're looking at another supercell around Delta County. It's traveling along US 2 at this time. I would keep in mind that since these thunderstorms are moving east about 45 to 50 miles per hour, and definitely this particular supercell would be better pressed to move east because it moved southeast. Well, guess what? I think Big Bay did not have a hand in weakening it, and that's why you're seeing more green versus red in those areas around the Garden Peninsula and the Stonings Peninsula as well. However, you're looking at this bend here, right here, north of Ensign Township. This is what I'm worried about. Worried about tornadic potential in these areas around Rapid River, Truck Trail as well. That's what we're seeing here on the radar. You see these pendant hook shapes, these signatures on the radar that would indicate some kind of rotation out of these thunderstorms. Well, we're seeing it right now just before getting to the Stonington Peninsula in those areas. So that's what we're seeing. In particular, another supercell that I always say never until this thing moves towards the Bay of Green Bay. And I'm counting on some of the Packers to knock it down here. We're seeing a little hook or a pendant just southwest of Meyer at this time around the town of Faithorn. And Faithorn was one of those areas a couple years ago where severe thunderstorms damaged the area. Well, we're starting to see it northeast of the region around Spalding Township at this time, around Meyer on US 2, meeting that junction where you get to US 41 on the way to NATO. This is where we're seeing the potential for severe thunderstorms. Watch out for a rotation southwest of Meyer. This is what we're seeing, the pendant shape right here on your interactive radar. And as you see the change in colors, the drastic change in colors northeast of NATO on US 41 from the red and then just dramatically changing to the green. I would watch out for some gusty winds in those areas along US 41, northern Menominee County. And watch out for the, again, rotation to peak out of that western flank of the supercell, northern Menominee County, folks. But we're starting to see a little more definition to the curvature and the little hook that we're seeing on US 2. West of Nema Junction at this time, Forest Highway 13. Also watch out for some torrential rainfall, gusty outflow winds, and also some large hail that could get to ping pong ball size hail. We're also watching out for that potential for areas of Alger County at this time, and it includes the city of Munising. So watch out, Mustangers out there. Chatham, we're seeing at least torrential rainfall in those areas. M94, be careful in those areas as we're seeing around Autrain, Christmas, and Munising. There's also a flash flood warning in effect. Thank you for the update there, Cameron, as we cover this. Again, any of these thunderstorms, since they are just stubborn and holding their strength, they could also produce torrential flash floods. And you know what happened, just like the events we've had in the Copper Country not too long ago, and some areas of the central UP, erosion. Erosion is the #1 thing. National Weather Service will be the first ones to remind us, of the weather team, about how our infrastructure is in Upper Michigan, right? We always try to do our best. We make do with things, but you got to be careful along remote areas of the road. Not US 41, M28, I'd still watch out for it, but our side roads too. And when we're getting out to the fields and out into the forest there, that the infrastructure could lead to anything of just erosion and watching out for just any damages on the roads there where you see the road and you don't see it anymore and you just see water spouting up north. Be careful out in those areas. But again, we're on air now because we're watching out for tornadoes. We're under a tornado warning for some areas of Upper Michigan at this time. As I zoom out here, I'm going to go ahead and get a little more clarity to show what is in effect now. Delta County's severe thunderstorm event has diminished. Continuing on though around south central Upper Michigan, however, the tornado warning still something to watch out for around Alger County and getting close to Schoolcraft County at this time. I'll send you back to Cameron. He's got additional coverage. Stay safe and indoors, everyone.
Hey everyone again, I know we're kind of focusing on the tornado warnings and the severe thunderstorm warnings, but another facet that has occurred, we did briefly mention it, a flash flood warning has been put into effect for most of west central Alger County into north central Upper Michigan. This will last for at least another couple hours, but just around 7:15, just about 10 minutes ago, this was put into effect, and right now, rain reports have been put in about up to 2.5 inches of rain have fallen in some areas. And because this system is still training along portions of Alger County, this is going to drop even more in some areas. Could be upwards of 1 to 2 inches are possible in that warned area, and it's going to be ongoing. So what this means is if you do see some elevated river levels or at least elevated water levels, turn around, don't go into that road. Be safe, turn around, don't drown. We say it, but I know it's hokey, but we do have to say that just to remind you of what you should and shouldn't do. So areas that will include this experience when it comes to flash flood, Munising, Autrain, Dearden, Christmas, Wetmore, those areas just to give you an idea of what we're looking at. But turning back to severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, now in effect into 7:15. This is a new one. Portions of Menominee County, Spalding area, that little jutting out portion that if you're looking on screen, there's a little thing. We're going to circle around it right now. That is what we're looking at. This is kind of that hook echo that allows us to see where this is developing. So this is just west of Spalding and moving is southeast. This will go along portions of US 2. This is bringing heavy rain. There could be hail in some areas, winds very high, damaging winds as well. We encourage everyone in this area, get inside, get into the interior portion of your house. If that's not the case, go to your bathroom, cover yourself with a blanket, and avoid windows, exterior walls. This will continue across the Upper Peninsula for at least another 45 minutes, as we saw. I know it's getting a little bit tiresome, but we are just giving you the best information and the most updated information to provide you. While we can
The National Weather Service in Marquette has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Delta County in south central Upper Michigan, central Menominee County in south central Upper Michigan, until 8:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 7:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 6:23 p.m. Central Daylight Time, A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Hermansville, or 23 miles southeast of Iron Mountain, moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near hours around 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Gorley, Spalding, Faithorn, Nato, Wilson, Kearney, and Kennard.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So, good news we can share at the moment. The tornado warning in Alger County, the tornado warning in Delta County have been expired. And all that's left right now in Alger and Schoolcraft County is a severe thunderstorm warning. But as you just saw momentarily, we're now looking at a tornado warning, another one in Menominee and south portions of Delta County, closer to US 2, getting close to US 41 in some areas. This will also approach M35 within definitely the next 45 minutes. So what we're seeing right now on the radar is this will continue for at least another 45 minutes. It's at 7:15 p.m. That's Central Time. That is 8:15 Eastern Time. I know the area of Harris, Escanaba area kind of verge on that border of Central and Eastern Time. So we're going to provide both times. And right now, the part we're looking at the most right now is that corner of US 2, US 41. That's going to be moving more east, southeast in that direction. So, but we're also looking at heavy rain in portions of Spalding, Harris, going into Delta County along US 2. This could definitely bring hail, and we're going to take a closer look and show where this is supposed to be moving and how fast it is moving in your area. So right now the tornado warning is again set to expire within the next 45 minutes. Hail reported less than 3/4 of an inch. So this is definitely at least quarter size to potentially some ping pong sized hail in some areas. So over the next 20 minutes, that's going to affect Hannahville. In the about 6:30, next 5 minutes, Harris will see that. 7:45, Island View, and then closer to that Ford River. We're going to keep an eye on that if it does continue past that, but we're right now looking at Kearney, Nato area. That's definitely going to be the area where it sees the heaviest chances of a tornado. And looking at winds, though, right now they're reporting winds up to 25 miles per hour, and that's how fast it's moving, but we're also seeing that radar indicated tornado. Flying debris will be dangerous. Even if it isn't a tornado, straight line winds are a possibility. This could rip off tree limbs, damage your windows, roof, cars, houses, anything you can think of. I'm also going to toss it back to Noel to kind of give his take on where we're seeing it. He's going to go take a closer look at the system. Noel?
Thanks, Cameron. And yes, everybody, we're talking about from Spalding down to Nato at this time, looking at that pendant shape, the hook echo that we like to call in meteorological terms. These are features that we find on the radar that indicate some kind of rotation with our supercellular thunderstorm. The core of it is going to be east of US 41 around Spalding, and you can see it reflected in that high energy, the colors of magenta around this portion of northern Menominee County. Now for areas along Harris, Hannahville, around those areas of between Menominee and Delta County, you're going to be dealing with some heavy rain, some gusty winds out of this, and be prepared to watch out for what's going to happen before this supercell makes its way towards the Bay of Green Bay. We could hope that this eventually starts to peter out in time because it gets closer to the water. But as for now, as Cameron mentioned, and that's a key point, we were saying that these storms today were moving east about 40 to 50 miles per hour, but this speed in particular out of this supercell is half that speed, 20 miles per hour, folks. And here we are with the tornado imminent. That's what we're watching out for on US 41 around Nato. Please stay indoors, away from the windows, lowest floor if possible. This applies not just to the tornado, but gusty winds out of it. And that's what we're watching out for the south. Meanwhile, let's send it to the anchor desk. Griffin and Grace.
Thank you very much, Noel and Cameron. Again, make sure if you are able to watch, you're listening to the alerts that Cameron and Noel are giving to you We're keeping you updated throughout this entire evening here on TV6, on Fox UP, and online, wherever you may be watching, TV6 Plus and UpperMichiganSource.com. We want to reiterate as well, thank you to everybody who's sending in videos and pictures for the weather wherever you may be. We are getting all of these videos and pictures. We're looking through as many as we can. We have a lot that we're going to be able to look through here right now, Grace.
Yeah, it's helping paint a fuller picture of what we're seeing around Upper Michigan. Starting off here with video from KP. This is in the Marquette area. Winds just blowing those clouds around. This was sent a little over an hour ago to us, again, from the Marquette area.
And this next video that we're going to see is from Andrew Blanford. He's our chief engineer here at WLUC. This is Lake Superior that you're looking at, and that is a water spout right in the middle of that video. You can see how full effect that is showing there out on Lake Superior.
And this video is from Stacy Zanetti. This is hail falling in Arnold Township, in Wells Township in Marquette County. You can see that is thick hail coming down. Noel and Cameron mentioned earlier that that's damaging hail.
And this is more hail. Look at the impact it's making as that hail hits the ground. Those are thick balls of hail. This is in Ewing. This is from David Hammer. Thank you for sending this video in, David. That is disturbing to watch. It is powerful. You see the impact immediately that this video is showing us.
And this next one coming up is from Don Bellinger from Harvey on Bayou Street near the Welcome Center. Looks like, again, another water spout kind of thing in the background that we're watching. Cameron is nodding his head for us, confirming that is a water spout in the Harvey area. So again, safety is the #1 concern. If you are outside, get inside. If you're inside, make sure you're on the lowest level of your home. You are away from windows. If that means you need to get away from your TV to watch us and follow us, we have an app, the TV6 and Fox UP mobile news app. It is free on Android and Apple devices. And we're going to turn now to our meteorologist, Noel Navarro.
Thanks, Grace. Thanks, Grace and Griffin. So here we are watching out for the tornadic potential, and it's around northern Menominee County at this time. Just north of NATO. Again, it's too close for comfort, folks. I told you about how our radar updates. It's every 5 minutes. It's too imminent. I know it's over the green around the NATO, Kearney-NATO area, but you got to watch out for this particular debris ball is what we call it, that is jutting out of the main supercellular thunderstorm. This is how we see it in our textbooks in our weather school. This is a supercell, a tornadic thunderstorm, around northern Menominee County. It's around US 41, just northeast of NATO as indicated on the radar, but I'd watch out for folks in NATO at this time. We're watching out for that rotation and tornado touchdown in these areas. And usually when we see this ball that is in the dark shade of red, that's a debris ball, meaning that some of this, all the ground, everything is being lifted up into the atmosphere. It's getting close to that where the funnel cloud is, be indicating a tornado touchdown in these areas. So please be safe in these areas. We talk about it all the time. Stay indoors, away from the windows, low floor if possible, if you have it. As for folks towards Hannahville, is the hail potential in these areas and some damaging winds. Damaging straight line winds that could lead to tree damage, windows, roofs, siding, and even, of course, unfortunate vehicles if we haven't protected those guys. It's too late to do so, folks, but we have this threat imminent for a supercellular thunderstorm that can bring a tornado to areas of northern Menominee County at this time. Focus around the area of NATO and just east. They're moving slow. The energy of the cell is moving slow, about 25 miles per hour. Guess what? It's meeting the Bay of Green Bay at this time, and that's not what it wants. It wants to stay over land, keep the heat and the humidity, the energy that it likes to sustain. It's ongoing in those areas around Delta and Menominee counties at this time. That's where the tornado warning remains in effect, folks, but there's still severe thunderstorm potential for some areas down US 2 on the way to Cooks and Thompson Township, as we're seeing here on the interactive radar, and then also watching out for the severe thunderstorm threat in addition to torrential rainfall leading to flash flooding around north central Upper Michigan at this time. That includes Alger County, it includes the northern portions of Schoolcraft County too, as we see here on the interactive radar map. It is running rampant along the central and eastern counties at this time on this first alert weather day. The threat has diminished along the western and northern ends. We're talking about the Keweenaw Peninsula, Isle Royal, into Ironwood, and for places like Waters Meet, Iron River. You're also out of that threat, and that's good news because you did have that tornado warning earlier this evening. The energy has shifted. Now to the central and eastern portions of the region, we've got the first alert weather day until 9 p.m., so that's less than an hour and a half. We want to count on it being there, but we're going to provide you the hour-by-hour coverage as need be. I'll send it to Cameron here for additional coverage.
All right, thank you, Noel. I just want to kind of give you a break and go over what we're seeing again. I'm also looking at the radar on my phone, looking at the velocity. It's mostly closer to the NATO area right now. It's approaching Gorley. We're going to see this continue across the next 30 minutes. Another thing to keep in mind is over the next few days, we're going to provide you what we learned from the National Weather Service when it comes to these tornadoes, what the rating was, what kind of damage there was as well. Similar to what we did last time we saw a tornado in portions of Alger and Delta counties that was moving northeast, it was confirmed to be an EF0. But we can't really say that right now what these tornadoes are for tonight. So we'll keep you updated on uppermichigansource.com on what these storms end up being. Currently, this is still moving southeast, getting slowly past the NATO area, but it's still going to be near your road. So US 41 still seeing the heaviest bouts of wind, still seeing that heavy rain. Those in Hannahville now starting to see the heaviest bouts of rain. This could also lead to hail in some areas. We have definitely seen hail at least a ½ inch in size, getting close to an inch in some areas from the National Weather Service. So we encourage you safely always. If you do have any reports, do send them. Photos, videos, anything you can think of that helps us to give us a clearer picture of what's happening in your area, how intense this storm was, and what we can expect going forward. This is kind of an abnormal setup for the UP. We usually don't see something like this, and when it does, it's usually within like 5 to 10 years. So this is a pretty intense system. We're going to provide you the latest updates when we do learn them. Currently looking at my radar on my phone, it is still moving pretty slowly, around 25 to 30 miles per hour. The hatch, or at least the pocket where the rotating winds are, it's still kind of there, but it's slowly breaking up, and you can kind of see it on the radar a little bit. It's starting to kind of disconnect a little bit, but that doesn't mean the tornado warning is over just yet. This could still continue for at least another 15 to 20 minutes. I know the tornado warning is in effect up until 7:15 Central Time, 8:15 Eastern Time. So be sure to stay inside, get into the most interior portion of your house. I'm also going to look at the outage map for portions of the Upper Peninsula UPCO. Things have changing. I'm now going to ask our director to send it over to this camera right here, and we're going to take a look at the UPCO map. Things have changed. Munising area, Alger County, now there is more. Seeing more power outages across M28, so we're definitely seeing some more outages in this area. 116 in portions of Autrain. We're seeing further east, there's still more, about 21 here, and taking a zoom out, we're now also seeing some power outages in portions of Delta County. There's only 14, but that's the Cornell area, and that's mostly along the Escanaba River, County Road 426 road as well. This is mostly in this area, so it's not that many, but it's still affecting your area, and we want to keep the latest updates when it comes to power outages. So at the moment, that's what we're seeing right now. Things could improve within the next few hours. I'm going to toss it back to Noel to take another look at what the radar is like. Noel?
Thanks, Cameron. Yes, we still have the supercellular thunderstorm with that tornado warning for south central Upper Michigan until 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So East Coast time, it has been extended to 8:15 Central Daylight Time for this slow-moving supercellular thunderstorm approaching the Menominee Delta County line. And as Cameron mentioned, we're keeping an eye around Gorley, around this area here. You're seeing that ball that is somewhat detached. That's the area of rotation we're watching out for, and the thunderstorm threat around this area before we even get to Hannahville. Now, with a tornado, obviously, you want to stay away from the path of the tornado. The other problem is flying debris. As Cameron mentioned, that's something the National Weather Service surveys after the fact, after the event, where they determine what severity it was in terms of the EF scale. Now, we're going to expect that case to be with the tornado, but again, flying debris is another danger out of the tornadic thunderstorm. So it could be away from the funnel. It could be away from the spin up. It's going to kick up debris, folks, and that's what we got to watch out for. For folks towards Hannahville and approaching M35, and we are getting so much closer now to areas around, say, Little Bay de Noc. This is southwest of Ford River now. So you're talking about Cedar River. Cedar River along that Delta Menominee County line, it's not the place to be. And that's a tough place to be around M35 when you're driving through thick forest, and there's a lot of neighborhoods there. Folks, please stay indoors around M35. I know that way on the way to Menominee. It can be high traffic, but there's a lot of us folks that live there. And when you're talking about high winds taking down trees and flying debris coming out of it, you definitely want to stay indoors in that case. So even away from the tornado, where you're seeing the high reflected energy in the magenta and the dark shade of red towards that Menominee Delta County line, that's a case of damaging hail potential, damaging wind potential, in addition to torrential rainfall and frequent lightning that could lead to power outages and, of course, anything worse, to be struck by lightning. That's something we don't want to do. So that's why we completely just instruct you, stay indoors, away from the windows, lowest floor if possible. If you have it in your home or building, it's just stay away from the windows. I know some folks could see this off in the distance. If you're safe, well south of Cedar River, that's where you could probably take some pictures and submit it to us, but not recommended if this supercell is over your area, including east of NATO at this time. This is where we're watching out for the tornado in those areas. And I'm going to quickly zoom out because I want to cover the rest of the region of the UP, the central and east, still watching out for severe thunderstorm potential. It has now carried over to northern Schoolcraft County, talking about that Seney stretch on the way to McMillan and also Newberry. Careful there, folks. And they're on the way to Thompson Township from Nema Junction. There's severe thunderstorms in those areas as well. And as you can see, there is a tornado watch. I know there's a whole lot on this map, a lot to watch out for. Basically, the central and portions of the east under a tornado watch at this time. I know it's covering the western portions, but right now you're catching a good break out of it. In the meantime, it could be still smoky with that air, but again, tornado warning. It's until 7:15 p.m. Central Time, 8:15 Eastern Time, and it covers areas of Menominee and Delta County, around that county line, and it's approaching Cedar River at this time. We see it approaching M35, an area where there's dense forest, dense woods to drive through. When you're talking about tree damage and tree branches snapped off, flying debris could carry it around, and that could be deadly. That could be something you definitely want to stay indoors over, okay? And then as for the tornadic potential, we're watching out for this kink in this radar signature just east of Gorley right now, as you can see. It's a little bend in the action that would indicate some rotation just west of the supercell itself, of the main storm, and that's where it could drop a tornado in those areas of northeastern Menominee County. Well south of Hannahville, but Hannahville, you could be dealing with some gusty winds at this time that could get to 50 plus miles per hour, and that is damaging. Please be careful in those areas, especially around the Island Resort Casino, one of my favorite places in the UP. Yes, I'm trying to have fun with it, but I also want you to stress that we're covering this wall-to-wall coverage until the tornado threat is done. In this portion of Upper Michigan, it's the South Central. We got a tornado warning until 7:15 p.m. Central, 8:15 p.m. Central Time, where we're watching out for this particular rotation just west of the county line, Delta Menominee County line at this time. That's where the tornado threat is, and well ahead of it, still watching out for gusty, damaging winds and damaging hail that could get to ping pong ball size hail that could instantly damage windows, damage our vehicles, roof siding and trees, all that because of the severity of this supercell. It is moving rather slowly, and now it's starting to carry over the Bay of Green Bay. It's holding on to its intensity, but it has slowed down, folks, because of that reason, that it doesn't want to get to the water. That's not its favorable environment. At the same time, during this time of year is when we get our lake breezes that bring us some comfort to the summer heat. And some of those breezes move on and can actually enhance these thunderstorms, at least keep them longer lived. And that's what we're seeing at this time along the south central portions of Upper Michigan. So again, tornado warning, providing this coverage until the threat is done. It's until 7:15 p.m. Central Time, 8:15 Eastern, and it's covering the Delta Menominee County line around M35, hardest hit places in those areas. And I'm just going to quickly zoom out just to cover the rest of the UP, you're still seeing some severe thunderstorm or strong thunderstorm potential around Iron Mountain and also southern Marquette County around Arnold. Heavy rainfall, severe thunderstorm potential around the areas east central. We're talking about Munising on the way to Newberry, McMillan on the Seney stretch M28 and along US 2 as well as you pass Nema Junction, get past the village of Gardening, and then on the way to Manistee, the Emerald City. There's a potential for severe thunderstorms in those areas too. And not to mention, talking about torrential rainfall that could lead to flash floods and then lead to erosion. And once you see a remote road, it could be gone because of all that erosion instantly because of heavy rainfall. That is possible because of all these thunderstorms that have run rampant and have stayed true to their strength through the course of this evening in upper Michigan. We're counting on more to be had before we get to dusk in those areas, and we're going to keep this first alert weather day until 9 as we follow this shortly. We'll pass it over to Cameron here for additional coverage and more information for you folks. Stay safe.
All right, well, Noel, I'm just going to give you a brief break because I know you kind of talked there for a little while. Still the main focus is that storm in portions of Menominee County. Taking a look at my own personal radar, it's still moving at a steady pace right around 20 to 25 miles per hour. As you can see, the shape has kind of morphed a little bit and it's getting closer to Lake Michigan. This will kind of give the better chances of it kind of dying off quicker, but as you can see, there's still that pocket of the lighter pink, the magenta, and kind of the paler color. That's where we're going to see the heaviest bouts of hail. So that's getting closer to N35. So if you're traveling on this road right now, try to get through it as quickly as possible while also being safe. The biggest focus right now is still that kind of part that juts out a little bit, it's that little hook. That's where this system is producing that tornado. So it's right on top of Gorley. If you are in this area, if you still hear us, stay in your safe spot. We're going to keep you updated over the course of the next handful of minutes. That means staying in the most interior portion of your house. If you live in a mobile home, definitely go to the bathroom and have a blanket over you in your bathtub or just in your area. When it comes to the next 30 minutes, this is when that's set to expire. We're going to hope this expires sooner before that, but right now, the National Weather Service still has that warning up. So if you live in that border of Delta County, definitely stay in your safe spots. And we're hoping this is the last tornado warning of the night. But if that does happen again, we're just going to do this all over again. Talk to you what's happening, when it's happening, how long it's going to be, and what reports we are seeing. Still seeing some severe thunderstorm warnings across portions of Delta and Schoolcraft counties. Set to expire 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. That tornado warning, same time, 7 p.m. Central time, 7:15 Central time. That means 8:15 Eastern time. We also have that severe thunderstorm warning just behind it, 7 p.m. Central time. So that could expire within the next 10 minutes or maybe sooner if it moves quicker. That's along portions of US 2, US 41, moving southeast. And that system is getting closer and closer towards Lake Michigan, and that cooler air is not favorable for a storm like that, so we're going to keep our eyes on it. Taking a look at my velocity map on my phone, it's breaking up a little bit, but there's still some slight rotating winds in that area. The biggest thing right now is if you are on M35 and it is starting to pick up in rain, definitely get to a safe spot if you can. We're going to be monitoring this situation over the next few days because there has been a lot happening. We're going to sift through all of your photos, all of the reports you send us, and give us a better idea of what is happening. And if there is damage, also report it to the National Weather Service because that gives them a better picture of what happened too. So right now, winds upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour. Hail at the moment from the National Weather Service has been reported up to 2 inches from this system. So that's pretty big. That could cause damage easily to your car, break some windows if it hits that spot just right. It could also damage your roof, potentially shingles. Winds could be also tearing off tree limbs, roof shingles, creating damage as well. That's the biggest damage is the winds and the hail from this system. I'm going to toss it back to Noel so he can also provide what he's seeing.
Thank you there, Cameron. Yes, as we're looking, I have additional tools as well, with the radar, and looking at one of the velocity and the wind profiles around the areas east of Kearney, where we're watching out for that tornado potential around this area between Delta and Menominee counties and approaching M35 at this time around the town of Gourley. As you can see, the tornado warning is still in effect until 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Now, I'm not showing what's indicated on our radar, but I'm just going to tell you now verbally that we're still seeing a decent rotation out of this area between the counties here of Delta and Menominee at this time. At the same time, you're looking at the high reflected energies east of the tornado. So even outside of the path of the tornado, you're still dealing with destructive potential out of these thunderstorms because of damaging hail and wind, all reflected in the high energy from our radar here, shaded in the pink and magenta around M35, around Cedar River area here as we show you on the radar alerts map. So some of this energy making its way over into Little Bay de Noc, the Bay of Green Bay at this time, Bay of Green Bay, holding on, as we can see here, can make its way to also the Door Peninsula, parts of the Garden Peninsula if we have some of that energy break up, because once we have this supercell, if it does eventually break up, some of that energy could move northeast and get to the southern tip of the Garden Peninsula. We'll keep an eye on that, folks. But where the tornado threat is still happening in the area, it'll be around this Menominee Delta County line as we see. And we'll go ahead and circle it here on your radar alerts map as we can see. This is what we're looking out for. Debris ball will be that dark shaded red just east of the town of Gourley, as we see here on the map. As for your power outages, and this happens for anything from the thunderstorm, it could be from lightning, in addition to tornado and destructive winds and hail. Over 400 customers without power at this time in western Alger County. This is from the UPCO Electrical Outage Center, so you can go to poweroutage.us and check up on your power outages in the area. So hopefully you have that backup power. I'm also looking at viewer photos and videos I'd love to share later tonight once we start to see this threat dissipate across Upper Michigan. But there's plenty that you have shared, and we thank you for that. Thank you for being our eyes out there, and also be safe, okay, folks? Because again, the tornado warning is still in effect along the Delta Menominee County line at this time. The tornado warning is until 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Going to zoom out here on the map rather quickly to show you where the rest of the coverage is in terms of thunderstorms that could also reach severe limits, and I'll be around US 2. Crossing over from Delta to Schoolcraft County on the way to Thompson Township, Indian Lake as well, and around US 41, Trinary, M35 as you cross over from Delta County north towards Alger County. You got to watch out for heavy rainfall in these areas because it's not showing up on this radar and alerts map, but there is a flash flood warning that is taken in effect for areas of Alger County at this time. That's what National Weather Service has fallen in for here, saying that Doppler radar has indicated thunderstorm producing heavy rain across the areas around Alger County. Up to 2.5 inches of rain have fallen. So all caused by thunderstorms as they have been holding throughout this time. So we've got some more information for you as we're seeing the tornado threat down the areas here. I'll pass it over to Cameron here.
Well, I just wanted to provide the latest updates. The severe thunderstorm warning in Delta and Schoolcraft County has now been canceled, but that doesn't eliminate the threat entirely. We're still seeing in the last remnants of these warnings. That's the one in Menominee County, the severe thunderstorm warning, and that tornado warning that is still in effect. 7 p.m. Central Time for the severe thunderstorm warning, 7:15 p.m. Central Time for the tornado warning. We're keeping an eye on that. So for those in Delta, Schoolcraft County, while the severe threat looks to be over in your area, that doesn't eliminate the heavy rain in your area. We'll be monitoring that. When it comes to any flooding chances, taking a look at this cell, things are starting to improve a little bit. Just from a glance, that hook now less prominent, but there's still some rotation just from looking at my radar on my phone. There's still some decent rotation. We're looking at mostly along that kind of bend where the orange kind of digs into the red a little bit. The magenta is more kind of the hail portion of this system. When we're looking at this, the biggest thing you want to keep out for is when a system starts to stick out and hook outwards. That means that is rotation happening. We're seeing that along M35 just south of Island View. 4.25 over 100 road in Delta County. We're looking at that to be around winds upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour. Looking at my velocity map on my phone, it's still rotating a little bit, so we're going to keep our eyes on this, and hopefully this expires sooner rather than later. So be sure, again, stay inside. We're going to keep you covered, and when this is finally over, we're going to take it back to local programming. But before that, so when it comes to staying safe, go into basements. If you don't have a basement, interior bathroom, interior closets. Some best ways to kind of protect yourself: have a blankets, a large coat, maybe use that parka to keep yourself protected as well. Stay away from windows, stay away from exterior walls, because when those winds pick up, those are the first things to go, especially the windows, and you don't want to get yourself caught from that. Even if it is tempting to potentially get a photo or video, do so safely, and if you aren't in a safe location, let the professionals at least get some reports and photos. We'll be monitoring this situation over the course of the next 15 to 20 minutes. When it comes to what we're seeing right now, it's still kind of in that rotation spot, mostly at the corner of Menominee and Delta County along M35. I'm going to take it back to Noel so he can continue what we're seeing, and hopefully this can also reach Lake Michigan, which, Noel, that should kind of be better for the area when it kind of dies off.
Yes, Cameron, we totally lean into that notion there, especially as it heads towards the Bay of Green Bay. I know that Lake Michigan is a bit warmer surface water compared to Lake Superior, but as you can see, the supercell is still holding its strength as it's moving across the Door Peninsula and the Garden Peninsula, the southern tip of it as well here, as a radar map will show you on the alerts. But the curvature that we're seeing, that Cameron's been talking about, crossing over to the Menominee Delta County line on M35, that's what we're watching out for with that tornadic potential as it moves across another busy road across Upper Michigan, and a place that is lined up with a lot of folks live in these areas, okay, and a lot of trees. So we're watching out for gusty winds that could lead to damaged tree branches and then lead to flying debris. This could be away from the path of the tornado. You just got to be careful, folks, and as we reminded, you stay indoors in that case. And as for the hail potential, well, that's moving across the water now as we see into this radar and alerts map. We're going to continue to cover this. It continues for portions of the central and east for severe thunderstorm potential, especially tornadic. Let's send it back to the desk with Griffin and Grace.
Thank you, Noel. You are keeping us safe, and that's why we are not in our normal programming right now, because safety is our #1 priority. And that means when we have severe weather, we're going to tell you about it. We're going to take the steps to keep you guys safe.
Yeah, it's very important that you're listening to what Cameron and Noel have been telling you for the last, it's been almost 2 hours, I think, at this point. These tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings continuing to go in. And if you are sending in any pictures or videos to us at uppermichigansource.com or our Facebook pages, thank you. We love looking through them. We're going to send you a reply back that's asking if we're allowed to use those on TV. If you see that message, we're just trying to get clarification that we're allowed to use them on TV. So if you send any of those pictures to our Facebook, then we are going to send that message back to you. You can hit accept. You don't have to do that, but that's our way of you allowing us to use that on TV. And speaking of those Facebook videos and pictures, we've had a lot of them sent to us tonight. And this is the very first one from KP. This is a Gray Media employee who's in Marquette. This is just the entire area. You can see how strong the winds were. This is from a little earlier while these tornado warnings were first starting to escalate. Very dark skies up there, Grace.
Absolutely. And this next video here is from Andrew Blanford. He's our chief engineer here at TV6. This is a water spout over Lake Superior. He pulled over on the side of the road safely to be able to get this video for us. And that safety reminder is important. We want your videos and pictures, but do so safely.
And this next video coming up is hail. You can see how much of it is coming down in Arnold around the Wells Township area in Marquette County. Coming down forcefully from Stacy Zanetti. Thank you for sending this in very fast, and it's coming down hard, Grace.
And then this next one, Griffin, more hail, and you can see how it's bouncing off of the ground almost like basketballs.
It's terrifying.
It is. That is damaging hail. That's what we've been warning you guys about all evening.
And this last video, this is from Don Bellinger. This is a water spout. It's in Harvey near Bayou Street, near the Welcome Center on US 41 as you're leaving Marquette or driving into Marquette. That is a very visible water spout you see right there in the middle of your screen that is over Lake Superior, Grace.
We actually have one more of the same thing. This one is from Nico Bellinger, the same water spout at the Welcome Center on Bayou Street. Again, we want your pictures and videos, but please do so safely. If you are outside, get inside. If you're inside, make sure you're on the lowest level of your home. You are away from your windows. Remember, you can watch us on your TV6 and Fox UP mobile news app on any of your Apple or Android devices. You can also watch us on our live stream, uppermichigansource.com. We are there until all of these expire.
Yeah, and this is going to be going on, we believe, until 8:15, I think, is when the final tornado warning is going to be expiring. 8:15 Eastern, that is, 7:15 Central Time. We're going to continue to be on the lookout as far as this is going on. We appreciate everybody who has been watching and following along. We understand we're interrupting your regularly scheduled programming, whether it's on TV6 or Fox UP. The Beyond the Ballot with Brady Meyer would be starting right now. We love Brady. He's going to have some of that programming for you as the weeks come on. But right now, we are here because we want to be here for you. And Cameron and Noel have been here for you for the past couple of hours. And at this time, we're going to be sending things back to you, Cameron, right now.
All right, we're going to still provide what we're seeing right now. That warning has been slowly shrinking. It's now less on US 41, less on US 2, now getting closer towards the Lake Michigan, but still along portions of M35. The National Weather Service has also been receiving reports. When it comes to hail, near Arnold, they saw 2.75-inch sized hail. Pretty sure that's bigger than a softball, or at least around that size. But currently, looking also at my radar, it's still rotating a little bit, mostly just west of M35, kind of right here on the border of Delta and Menominee counties. I'm going to step off so we can also take a look at the current radar again. Right now, that area is still seeing the higher winds. Hail is also falling in that area, and as you can see from this, it's still there slightly in that western portion, just west of M35. We're also going to monitor this, and the closer it gets, the moment it gets closer to Lake Michigan, this warning could also expire, but a water spout is possible from this setup. Looking at that also on my phone, it's still looking to persist in that area. The hook is less prevalent, but that doesn't mean there isn't rotation. There is. This just means that it is possibly a rain-wrapped situation, and if you are in this area, you are not going to be able to see it. So stay still, be in a safe spot. We're going to continue to monitor this situation over the next 30 to 40, well, at least within the next 10 minutes when this does potentially expire. We're hoping that's going to be the case, and then we can continue to your regularly scheduled program. I'm also going to now take a look at the power outages across the Upper Peninsula. So far, not much has changed, but those areas in Alger County, Delta County, they're seeing power outages. Current numbers sitting at 437 in Alger County, portions of western Delta County sitting at 14, and portions of the Garden Peninsula sitting at 24. So things are kind of staying the same when it comes to that regards, but most of that rain is now in the central and eastern counties. Moving towards, say, Schoolcraft County, still persisting in some portions of Alger County, where that flash flood warning is still in effect. That's going to stay in effect for at least the next 2 hours. They have seen already 2.5 inches of rain. This is going to be moving out over the next 30 minutes, but they could still see a fair amount of rain. At least another inch is possible. When it comes to the tornado warning, currently sitting in Menominee County, it's shrunk just a little bit more. It's now closer to Lake Michigan, still northeast of Cedarville. M35, you're seeing that. I'm going to toss it back to Noel so he can kind of see what he's seeing in his area. Noel?
Thanks, Cameron. We're going to see the interactive radar and take it back down to south central Upper Michigan and along the M35 corridor, southwest of Escanaba, around just northeast of Cedarville, is where we're still seeing that jutting out of the supercellular thunderstorm that would indicate some rotation. So we're still following that on M35 as it moves over the water. As Cameron mentioned, there's a chance that the spin up could produce a water spout this time, but still watching out for the undulations that we're seeing west of the supercell. That is still maintaining some of its strength. It's starting to gradually weaken around the Bay of Green Bay at this time, but still you're seeing the energy highly reflected of the dark red and magenta, indicating this thunderstorm still packs it, folks. And plus, just again, watching out for that pendant feature that we find on the radar, or the, as we say, the hook echo. Well, we're still seeing some of that indicated on the radar around M35, around the Cedar River area. So still the tornado warning is in effect as we take you to radar and alerts. It's until 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and it's covering portions of Delta and Menominee counties. It's going to be around M35. So northeast of Cedarville at this time. These cells, well, they're moving really slow now. As they get over to the water, they'll probably break up in time. But they've been moving slowly east at 25 miles per hour, trying to stay alive as long as possible, but it's getting to its end, at least over land for us, which is a good thing. Now, we have new pictures. Got to thank you viewers there for safely doing so. Let's take it to Grace and Griffin at this time.
Thank you, Noel. Again, thank you for the time that you've put in, for the effort that you have made, and Cameron for keeping us safe this evening. Yeah, they've done an outstanding job. You've been out here for a few hours now. We've been sifting through a lot of pictures and videos. Again, thank you to everybody who has been sending in all these pictures and videos that you've sent to us. And we do have a couple of more that we want to show you as well, and we'll get to those in just a second. But again, thank you everybody for tuning in. And whenever you have questions about severe weather in Upper Michigan, you go to uppermichigansource.com. The TV6 and Fox UP mobile news app will keep you updated. There is the TV6 First Alert weather app that we can provide for you. You can get more coverage and more alerts from Cameron, Noel, Jennifer, Ethan, the entire TV6 First Alert weather team, and we will always let you know what's happening here in Upper Michigan as your trusted news source. And as part of our First Alert promise to you, we do have a safety guide as well that you can get on our website, on our apps, to find out what you need to do in these severe weather situations, because your safety is our priority. We are in this community too. We know that we're just trying to get through it and be safe together. Yeah, and that's what we do as Yoopers. Well, I guess an adopted Yooper, but you work together, you string together. That's why we're here for you, and we want to provide all the resources to make your life as safe as we possibly can. Yeah, so let's take a look at these pictures sent in by Daniel Kundick. This is hail in the Escanaba River area in Rock, Michigan. That's massive, Griffin. That is, I can't tell how big the plate is, but you can just see the scope of how big those pieces of hail are. We've seen a couple of videos about hail coming down, slamming into the ground. This is what that is in some areas of the UP. Again, this is out in on the Escanaba River in Rock, Michigan. That is a big piece of hail that ended up doing damage to a car that is in another picture that Daniel Kundick sent us right here. Wind, grass blowing into this car windshield. Hopefully that thing is still able to drive. Daniel, if that is your car, hoping that you can get around later on in the evening or tomorrow to get your grocery shopping in. But that is just a little idea of how dangerous this truly has been wherever you are in the UP for the last several hours, Grace. Yeah, and if you look closely in that top right-hand corner, you can see where the glass has started to shatter from the hail. That's what Cameron and Noel have been warning you guys about. That's why we're staying inside, and that's why we're here for you this evening. Yeah, but you can see that we are not completely out of everything yet. Right there on your radar, there is still that little bit of red. Everything is moving around. It's still a very fluid situation. We're getting close to the end of those tornado warnings, though. This has been a lot for us to deal with here in the UP, and everybody, hopefully you are staying safe wherever you are. If you have to be downstairs in a safe area away from the glass, we appreciate you sticking along with us wherever you may be watching. But that is still very active, it seems like a little bit, Grace. Yeah, we have just about 5 minutes left in this tornado warning, assuming it doesn't change. But right now, 8:15 Eastern time is when that is going to extend. So for the last 5 minutes of this, we're going to send you back to Cameron and Noel.
All right, thank you, Grace and Griffin. Taking a look again, this little system is the last remnants of any tornado warnings. I'm looking at others across my phone. There's mostly just systematic rain, nothing super cellular from these systems, but this one is just now starting to get across Lake Michigan, getting mostly past M35, so within the next 5 minutes, this warning should expire. But I know that we're just going to stick through the last remnants of it. And when it comes to this system, it's moving southeast, getting closer towards some of the Door Peninsula, but it's moving its way out now. The heaviest winds look to be around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Wind gusts up a little bit higher. As you saw, it doesn't take much hail for it to damage your car or potentially your windows. It looked, those pictures that Daniel Kundick sent us, we appreciate that, but I know it probably hurt to see your car being damaged like that, but that is the power these storms can bring. And that was just because of it looking to be about golf ball sized hail. So it does not take much. Even bigger sized hail can definitely damage windows, your roof, even more. So we do have that flash flood warning as well. Noel is also operating this system while I talk. So over that area, that's north portions of Alger County, so that's Christmas, Munising, Rock River area. They've seen at least 2.5 inches of rain, and it is moving out. So when it comes to that part of the UP, they will definitely see, so roads like M28 are of concern. Side roads are going to be of concern, especially if it's near a creek, a small river. This could cover the road. I know it's kind of hokey to say, but we always say turn around, don't drown. If you do see higher waters, it does take your car and it will stick around. So overall, less than 4 minutes now with this tornado warning. We're going to keep on the air, and when it does expire, we're going to also thank that it is over, because we are also, if you are tired of hearing us talk about it, we're the ones talking about it. It has been a long day. 2 hours straight of this can get a little daunting, but we're going to stay on the air for you. So the biggest rain amounts right now are in that Menominee area. There is less magenta, so that means there's less chances of hail in some areas, but it doesn't reduce it entirely. So that tornado warning right there in the border of Delta and Menominee counties, that's what we're looking at. I'm going to toss it to Noel, and hopefully within the next 3 minutes, this one expires. Noel?
Thanks, Cameron. Well, you know what? In the words of Captain America, I could do this all day. Well, we are looking at the supercell is holding around Bay of Green Bay right now, moving off of M35. So that tornado warning, well, it's right on time. National Weather Service, you got it right on time. We're expecting it to expire as scheduled for 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 Central Time around Delta County at this time. But for the Bay of Green Bay and towards the Door Peninsula, connecting over the Garden Peninsula too, still a threat of severe thunderstorms. And I'm still seeing a little bit of that undulation. I'm going to circle it here on the interactive radar, the potential for at least a water spout in this area here of Bay of Green Bay. So that's what we have going, folks. That's what we have on the interactive radar. Again, let's go back to your warnings and alerts. Tornado warning as expected around the Door Peninsula. There you go. That's until 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So northeast of Liberty Grove, that's for that area of Wisconsin. As for us in Upper Michigan, we're going to keep on with the tornado warning until it's completely out of M35 between Delta and Menominee counties at this time. And as Cameron mentioned, as we go to your interactive radar, we're showing you still that supercell thunderstorm is holding over the Bay of Green Bay. Astonishing. It's just astonishing. This is our weather up in Upper Michigan, the western Great Lakes region as a whole. Quite dynamic any time of year and dangerous. But as we see, the eastern half of the region, the southern portions of UP, we're still seeing strong to severe thunderstorms at this time. Starting to move across into the east central as we see, but still holding over the southern counties. And they're moving eastbound about 40 to 50 miles per hour. And now they're losing that heat, folks, because, hey, we're getting close to at least sunset here in Upper Michigan. I know it's still a little later, but we're losing that solar energy that helps fuel these thunderstorms, okay? And also, these thunderstorms look to continue into the overnight, but less on the severity over the eastern UP. So our first alert weather day, we have until 9 p.m. We're going to expect this to expire in time. If we have to do any updates, we sure will, but you can count on us covering this all the way to the end of the evening with your TV6 night report, with your TV6 late news as I join my team here. So again, we are going to go for that tornado threat. It's ongoing still. It is 8:14 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. It is still covering portions of Delta and Menominee County at this time, the tornado warning. And we take you to the radar and alerts. we have it all compiled here on the map. As you can see, it's still a supercell thunderstorm, a rotating thunderstorm, and now it has since expired. So, not done yet, folks. We're still under that first alert weather day. Let me zoom out on the map on your interactive radar to show you the activity across the portion south and eastern upper Michigan. It is your first alert weather day. We're going to close out. Let's send it to Cameron, though. He's been with me all night. It's only fitting to close it out with him.
Yes, thank you, Noel. We're going to still keep you updated, but that first alert weather day, 45 minutes, but that's all we have right now. Send any reports, pictures you have safely, of course, and we'll return to
100% of the time every day.
A kind gesture earns a man that